Yeah, but it's because we're live on YouTube now.
Well, it's already the comments already started. Leeds in meltdown.
That's a new meltdown. So, but because we've had a technical issue, which will endear our listening millions.
They like it. They've told us. It adds to the quaintness.
The quaintness. It does indeed. Right, are we live? We
Cottage
are live.
industry. Yeah,
We're live. We're here. Hello. We're here.
It's a different angle and everything.
Yeah, it's a different angle and everything. Right, much to the there's been more debate about our
Well, it's my fault, isn't it? It's my
our
fault.
technical capabilities rather than our actually what we talk about on the show. We have had a technical nightmare this week. In fact, that the one bit of kit that we have got that does work now doesn't work. So we are down to basics. So bear with us this week.
You know,
For everyone that's wanting to get involved.
People on Facebook can see the door, so they'll see Brian when he comes in.
Oh dear, we didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Well, you have to make Brian wait outside. Hello everyone, I don't know where to look now. Two cameras, it's the awesome foursome are back for another week of Rugby League chat. Phil's back from the south of France, another Leeds defeat. Well, never mind, give us something to talk about. Thanks to Wigan for costing me £1,300 from a £10 bet. Why didn't they just lose at Salford like everybody else wanted them to lose? Why didn't they just do that, Phil?
Did they not know that?
Is this a personal vendetta?
Yes, I think after everything you said last week,
Yeah.
word went round.
Yeah,
Scupper
it did.
his bet.
It did. The legend is back. He's reading his book because someone sent him a book.
He's on the back of
happy
it.
about that.
He's on the back
He's
of
on the back of
It's
it.
got a lot of
Stu-
pictures in it.
It's the Up the Cream from the Hull fans. Thanks very much, whoever does the Up the Cream. Thanks very much.
You do get quite a lot of stick in that one, which is always good to see. And Rich is here, who's cut his head.
Yeah.
He hasn't been banging it against a brick wall
Well,
have you,
may as well
after
have.
Wakefield lost last week.
Well, no, because I'm surprised we even got within two, to be honest.
He's our Harry Potter. He's got
Yeah.
the mark of Zorro on his foot.
Yeah. I've been, makes the mark of, I don't know.
So bear with us. If
Top
you're watching on
quality Rugby
Facebook, it'll be a different sound tonight. But we've had a bit of a technical issue today involving our map, which we really need a black armband on for. But never mind. We will.
When you say
work
out.
on that. Well, yeah. We don't even own that. Anyway, well done to Wigan. They won. Finally, they won Wigan. Much to my disappointment. I have to move in, actually, by the way, from the back page of the League Express.
Yes,
Because there's an advert on the back that says if you can't make Barca, head to Blackpool. Well, you were in Barcelona, weren't you, yesterday?
Having been in Bath yesterday, hence the biscuits and the sweet.
Where would you rather be, Barcelona or Blackpool?
Let me think about that, but not for long.
All right.
In fairness, Blackpool's got things that are finished as opposed to that cathedral in Barcelona, so,
It's also got things that are falling down.
well, that's also true.
Where would you rather be, Ledge, Barca or Blackpool?
Oh, it's Blackpool is cheaper. That night. Can express yourself.
Well, to be fair, last time I saw you in Blackpool, you didn't even make the night, did you? You'd done by 6, and you didn't even remember. You didn't even remember.
It was around about 10 o'clock.
Cruxy was just going out. You were just
It was around about 10 o'clock, Mr.
It
Wilson.
was about 8 o'clock.
About 10 o'clock. All right, we'll go halfway, 9:30.
Well done to St Helens. Absolutely battered Castleford on Thursday night. Well done to Catalan beating Leeds. Huddersfield, big win for them. We'll talk about all the games. Hull, narrow winners. Looked to have it in control. Holding on at the end against London. Well done to Wigan. Damn you. And well done to Warrington. But for Danny Brough kicking his goal against the post, we could well have been going to Golden Point. Right, we'll start there. We'll obviously be talking about Shaun Edwards tonight. The farce that has been Shaun Edwards. In fact, shall we start with Shaun Edwards?
We put it out on Twitter, we were starting with it, so...
Right, well, go on then.
We'll start with Shaun
Go on
Edwards.
then.
He's off to Wasps.
Scully, he's got a rugby union. Who'd have thought it?
Well, as I say, the so-called agreement what he had with Wigan, all the publicity with Wigan, all the fans have got very excited that the most decorated player and a legend of the club was coming back. We all thought a little bit that it was a farce in the first place from a point of view. Why are they sacking Sean Wayne? Adrian Laming for 12 months and then Shaun Edwards on a 3-year deal. And then the next question was, well, if Lamb wins the treble, will they sack Lamb and say to Edwards? I think it's all just unfolding now that the shambles is what it's been, to be honest with you. As I said last week regarding Shaun, Shaun has never ever coached a rugby league side. I would imagine, as we said last week, and everybody's been saying it, that he would have asked questions from a point of view, what's available fund-wise, what's available from a point of view, the quality, what he's looking for. He wanted 2 assistant coaches, which I would imagine would not have come cheap. Done a great job in Rugby Union since he's been there. Put himself in the shop window. Looks like Wasps, but if it's not Wasps, then I would imagine there'll be plenty more clubs knocking on the door and saying, hey Shaun, we want your services. It's just been totally unprofessional from Wigan. All right, Lenigan's trying to defend himself from a point of view where, you know, the mutual respect the pair of them have. And I say from a point where he's not going to, well, all right, legally, I guess he's right if it's a gentleman's agreement, handshake and verbal agreement, but I think himself he's just trying to get out of the corner because he's just made himself look a fool.
I mean, he's retired from rugby league coaching very early, hasn't he?
Well, after no games?
Yeah.
100% record.
Yeah. Bit of a shame, but if you were Shaun Edwards, a bit less hair, and you were offered a job with England's rugby union people who need a new coach after the World Cup, which is coming up, or Wasps, or whoever, let's not beat them out of the bush here. We know they've got a lot more funding in rugby union, a lot bigger salary cap, a lot more bigger sponsors and everything. I expect they're going to pay him a lot more money than Wigan would. So, why have Wigan not just come out and said, right, he's off, we're starting the process, look out for a new coach for next year? Because this is like Theresa May at the minute. Well, I've got this deal, and this is the deal we've got. And then she goes away, she comes back, we've got this deal still. Just say you're not doing it.
Yeah.
Shaun Edwards.
What do you reckon, Phil?
I'm not sure anybody comes out of this with any credit. I know they're all trying to take the PR high ground at the moment and apportion blame in the other camp, but the fact is, if Wigan had really wanted Shaun Edwards, they would have tied up Shaun Edwards. The fact that even this week they were saying, if he's had other offers, he's fine to go and again, this isn't the Wigan that I grew up with, that were the all-powerful club that when they wanted or needed or desired to make change, they had the wherewithal to go out and do it. It raises a question now at Wigan as to, irrespective of the result this week, which has taken some pressure off on the playing side, what is the immediate future now for Wigan? Who do they go after as a coach? You know, Adrian Lamb's position is no more secure than it was. Is that undermining what's happening this season? Who else is out there that they could go and get that now would come to them on the basis of the fact that negotiations are broken down with their first choice? I can only see two potential coaches now if they are going to go down this 1 year experiment with Adrian Lamb. And I'm not sure with the way that they've been playing in the first part of this year whether they would even be looking to extend Adrian Lamb's contract. But obviously Shane Flanagan is available, tarnished, it must be said, still maintaining his innocence in Australia, although he's been found guilty of whatever, making contact with players when he was banned from doing so. But he's a proven Premiership winning coach, so you could bring him over. I think Trent Barrett's the only other one, played for Wigan and obviously has a very high reputation with the people of Wigan for what he did as a player. It didn't work for him at Manly, and he's on the market. But they need to move quickly. It's painfully obvious now that Shaun Edwards isn't coming. It's been pretty obvious for the last 2 weeks. It's how both parties...
obviously since it got announced.
Yeah. but it's obvious over the last 2 weeks that both parties are trying to extricate themselves from a deal that was never actually signed, sealed or delivered.
Well,
they need to announce something.
Yeah, it smacks me of a bloke that's been dumped by his girlfriend and gone, well, if you don't get anyone else, you can come back. I'll still be here when you want to come back. And that's what he's
Can
done.
we be friends?
I'll have a look round. No, it's all right, I've got a better offer. Thanks.
Well, and I'll say what I've put him a call as well today, Matt, regarding, do you think Mr. Lenigan might decide and think, you know what, I think I made a big mistake getting rid of Shaun Wayne. Do you think they'll have the...
I don't think you can...
You think they'll have the crystals and say, Shaun...
I don't think Shaun would come back.
I think Shaun will come back on his terms when he was in sole charge.
I don't think he'll get his terms. Because I don't think it works like that.
Well, one thing for sure, I think the Wigan players would absolutely love Shaun Wayne back there. The Shaun Wayne philosophy worked, and as I say, okay, at times, people question the style of play, but it changed last year when they won the grand final. So
all of the backroom staff he had are no longer there.
Are they all gone as well? Are they?
A couple of people on social media already. Stephen and Alan both saying Dennis Betts got a job now.
Got a job.
So doing a video. Yeah, he's got a director of rugby at Newcastle. They might need him to run the union side as well because they're no good, aren't they, at the minute? So that's a couple of people. Carsten, bit harsh, on Flanagan, a cheating coach to a cheating club. He's denying all things, Carsten. And Wigan don't cheat. That was the old days. People don't like this new camera angle. They don't like it.
Well, it's different. People don't like different. It's a
Change.
1 week only.
Yes.
I've broken the laptop basically, what we normally record on. So people say, get more mics. I've got mics, I've just got nothing to plug them into. I haven't do it off the phone. We're bankrupt this week. we're bankrupt with technical stuff.
I wish I hadn't said that, because Tracy says Paul Cook to Wigan. And she'll be listening now, knowing it's her laptop you've broken. I picked up this random Doncaster programme because Paul Cook's hair in this, and I'll have to scan it in for you because it is a shocker. Once I can find it. Look at that. What's going on there?
He looks like Show the Legend. He looks like me. He looks like Bobby Charlton. Big comb over.
Cookie from Hull, you mean?
Yeah.
Where are we?
Yeah, it's down there at the bottom, Cookie. Well, he's at Doncaster Rugby Union. It's not for us to get him another job, but I'm sure if a rugby league club came knocking, he might be interested. The big one is, as you said, and let's be fair, it was a much needed win, Phil, yesterday for Wigan. Again, they had to win, and they did win in fairness. But they need to sort this out now, because everyone's got to land. Well, are you going to be the coach? Are you going to be the coach? And like, if no one offers him the gig, what was he supposed to do? He's like getting the flat now.
It undermines whatever he's trying to do.
Yeah.
And he knew he only had a year to do it, so it was a tight schedule anyway. And they're coming off being the champion, so the likelihood is the best he could do would be to repeat his predecessor. But it's almost an unfair pressure on him now, and it's tarnishing his potential reputation for getting a job back in the NRL. If he wants a coaching job, even an assistant coaching job, he has to go with a good CV. If he's the guy that took Wigan from the top to, let's say, not making the playoffs, and they may well do, and may well even retain the competition, win the Challenge Cup. But at this stage, that was a really important result for them yesterday, because you wonder what would have happened if, with the ongoing speculation off the field married to a continuing amount of losses off the field, where the club would then have gone. I think having Joe Burgess back sounded like it made a huge difference yesterday. George Williams scores a hat-trick, and he hasn't been in form, self-admitted, and by his coach as well, for the speculation surrounding him, which probably needs clearing up one way or the other. Seemed to have affected him, but clearly not now that left side was working again.
No, but I listened to it on the radio, and Alan Hunt was quite critical of Williams. Said he scored a hat-trick, but he needs more. He's all right supporting and finishing them off, but he didn't create his tries, if you like. So
Tell you what, as well, yesterday, he showed a bit of pace as well, to be honest with you, which I'm not really seeing in him for a while from there. But say we can't do any more than score a hat-trick, can you? I think on the left-hand edge, I think he passed the ball. Big Greenwood was massive one on the left-hand side there. He created all sorts of problems. But Salford's defence, you've got to say, were very, very soft, wasn't it, to be honest? But still, he was in the right place at the right time and got himself a hat-trick. But you mentioned Adrian Lamb from there. Every time when I see Adrian Lamb on television, and when I see him doing the interviews, you think he's got everything on his shoulders there. To me, it doesn't look as though he's enjoying that job for 1 second.
Because I don't think it's partly the job that he thought he was coming into, because of all that speculation, sir. Every week he's going to be asked, are you now going to be the head coach? Because the longer you allow this to happen, the more difficult it's going to be for him to impose anything that he wants to do.
Mentioning Joe Greenwood, bad news. Yes, he's got a game for intentionally standing on the ankle of someone in the 37th minute. Grade A, 1 game. Only 2 players have been banned this week from the Super League. The other will come to in a bit.
all right, okay.
As part of the return of the 2019 edition of Leeds in Crisis.
All right, okay. Fair enough.
But yeah, apart from that, yeah, everyone else has got away with it, whatever naughty things they've done. Tough fixtures for Wigan, says Andy. I've not got my laptop today, so I can't tell you the play in the next few weeks.
Catalan on this weekend.
Yeah, Catalans at home, aren't they? Yeah.
On Sunday. Yeah, people are still complaining. Mick says Salford were bad, so now to shout about. Of course, it would be very upsetting for Salford fans if we put Ian Watson's hat into the ring for the Wigan job, because they hate it when we say that. We don't know what's happened at Wigan off the field, despite everyone having their say on social media. People should be careful what they say on social media.
We do know, as I say, some people need to be extremely careful. It's now public knowledge that Craig Mullen, who played a couple of games for them last year in the first team, was arrested on Sunday on a drink driving charge. That's now public knowledge. People have been speculating it may have been another player who perhaps had been involved in nefarious issues off the field. Need to be very, very careful about what they're posting, because it isn't him.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
People on the internet. What can you
influencers? Be very careful.
Well, this is the problem with this programme. I tried to ring the RFL earlier and say, I've had some ideas. Can I speak to someone?
Well, hold on a second,
because put the phone down on me.
Because
influential enough.
Because They did ring me the other day and I didn't return the call. So
Oh,
I do feel a bit bad. So if Andy Wilson is listening,
Well, they're giving us 10...
he did ring me twice over the weekend and I haven't rung him back.
100 pairs of tickets to the summer bath.
Well, no, actually, I wanted to play. I wanted to put a team in, but we will see. I said, well, we've got 4, so we'll see. What's happening on social media?
Jason wants to ask about the England performance squad. What's the point? They're not playing this year.
There is a point.
Oh, there is a
Well, go on. Have we got the squad there? Have you got the squad
yeah, I can get it.
available? We'll get the squad. Go on, Phil. What's the point of this performance?
The point is that Sport England's money is partly given to the England performance squad.
Oh, there you
So
go.
I suspect that there are 2 reasons behind this. One is the bulk of those players will indeed be Great Britain. So if you're getting them together, then you're starting that process of they'll be playing at the end of the year wearing the red, white and blue rather than just the red and white. But the other thing is there is funding allocated for performance, elite performance. So I think we need to be seen to be spending that money as a sport by getting England. And that's why some injured players are in it who won't be playing. So Luke Gale's in it and Stevie Ward at the moment is in it. Tom Johnson's in it, who we know is not going to be playing again this year.
How long's Ward out for?
I think at the time of diagnosis when he had his knee operation was 6 to 8 weeks. So he'll be back, I think. It's probably about halfway through his rehab.
Right.
Well, according to this press release here, Warrington Wolves teammates Josh Charnley and Jack Hughes are 2 of the eye-catching inclusions in a 30-man England performance squad that has been announced today, brackets Monday, blah, 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 blah.
Liam Watts.
The EPS will meet for the first time in 2019 in late April when they will be joined by the Knights performance squad, which is to be named tomorrow. We don't do the show tomorrow. There is no mid-season international this year, but Wayne Bennett, the England and Great Britain coach, Ben Barber's going to fall on me head, will attend the second EPS meeting in June. Why is he not there for the first? Why is he not there for the first people on social media? There are further meetings in August and September ahead of selection for the Great Britain Rugby League Lions Tour of New Zealand, Papua New Guinea this autumn, and England's participation in the World Cup Nines in Sydney. No one cares. Bennett said...
Wales care. They're looking forward to going to it. And France...
In the World Cup.
I can tell you, France are really keen on the Nines.
Is it going to be on telly? I don't know why I'm asking you. I know it's going to be on telly later this year. We'll come to that in a bit, International Rugby League. Bennett said, even in a year when we don't have a mid-season game, it's important for us to name this squad and also the night squad early in the season. We had a good year in 2018 with 4 wins out of 5, 3 of them against the Kiwis. Yeah, we played 4 of the 5 against the Kiwis as well. I know the guys will be looking forward to getting together in April, and I'm looking forward to getting across there in June. Jack Hughes is one of the few players who have come up into the EPS from the night squad that was picked last year, which is good to see. Here's the squad in full. I think it's in alphabetical order of club. Gale, Milner, Truman, Watts, Tompkins, McGilvery, Connor, Shaw, Taylor, Mulhern, Ward, Watkins, Lomax, Makinson, Percival, Roby, Thompson, Walmsley, Johnston, Lynn, Charlie, Clark, Curry, Hill, Hughes, Ratchford, Gildart, Greenwood, O'Loughlin, Williams. The squad.
Is that not? I mean, Ledge, what do you make of that? There's some pretty good names in there. There's no one I'm thinking, oh, what's he in for? I think they all deserve a crack, don't they?
Yeah, we've had it, and I think, the NRL guys are slinging them in there. So, yeah, it's looking a very, very strong squad. And so, as I say, from the England point of view, they've got to keep that momentum going. We all know it's Great Britain going to be this time, but the England squad are sending the 9 side down there. So I would imagine that a lot of the players are looking forward to that. Certainly the ones who are a bit more mobile, a bit more pacey from there. But no, outstanding squad. And I'm all for it, keep this continued, I would say family affair, what they call it. It's like when you look at the football now, we Gareth Southgate. What Gareth Southgate wants to bring, he wants to bring a club atmosphere to the international side. And this is what England have been trying to do for the last 2 or 3 years. It's coming together. Everybody now wants to put an international shirt on. I can guarantee you, nobody will be wanting to pull out of the Great Britain tour this year. Like some couple of St Helens players couldn't play for Wales because I was told it might justify you play for the start of the season because you needed a rest. What an absolute load of rubbish that was. Nobody will be pulling out. What they are doing now at international level, they're making this where you want to be part of it. They're making sure when you're in that involvement that you've got a smile on your face, you're enjoying the environment. It's like a club environment. Yeah, well done to Wayne Bennett, well done to Kevin Sinfield, and everybody else who were in charge of the international help.
Roy's been on asking about Liam Watts. Is he a dramatically changed player since moving to Cass, or did he get unjustly targeted as dirty while at Hull?
he's just more consistent now. Whether that's down to the coaches that are working with him at the moment, or him himself, who's realised that the move to Castle was going to be the last opportunity he's got to play at the top level. But he's been rewarded, and I think what we've said in the past, you'll probably agree as well, is that players have been picked on reputation rather than form.
Absolutely.
There's an element now that they're being picked on form rather than reputation.
Yeah.
So Jake Truman's in there because obviously he's had a good start to the season. Liam Watts is up there as one of the most consistent players.
Yeah.
I think it's great. You know, Joe Greenwood, who had fallen out of favour when he went to the NRL because he wasn't playing every week, now come back and justify the fact that he needs a space in this 30-man squad. The fact that we can pick 30 is great because, as you said, there's no NRL players, which means our squad pool is deeper than it's been for a while.
Yeah.
And the fact that we've got some guys in there that are playing consistently well. You know, Daryl, you got to feel sorry a little bit for Paul McShane, who probably is the only name in there that whatever he seems to do, he's not going to get picked. But isn't Daryl Clark playing and James Roby playing so well at the moment? It's raising the standard. That's the level you've got to be at if you want to be a hooker in the England.
But also as well, I think what Liam Watts has got to be delighted with. If you look at the way that Wayne Bennett's at the Rabbit Holes now, the way he's playing Big Sam a little bit wider, he's playing him in the second row and he's letting him play what he sees, nice offload, but running hard and straight, wider from the ruck area. If Liam Watts is seeing that, surely Wayne Bennett has seen the way that Watts wants to play. He's got a good passing game. He can hit the ball hard and straight and make the hard yards when he wants, but he's got that skill, and I'm sure Bennett's seen that in him. That's why he's in the squad.
The much vaunted battle of the hookers didn't quite go McShane's way on Friday night, it's fair to say.
Hold on, he's laughing here. He's laughing here. He's laughing.
Yeah, but listen, but unfortunately for Macca, you know, it's like with Danny Allen, because you know there's two or three in front of him who are better than him. It's as simple as that. They wouldn't look out of place in England jersey, but unfortunately, there's two hookers, certainly over here in Roby and Clark, and then there's Hodgson in Australia, who are better than him.
And isn't that what we want? That is competition for players.
Of course it is. I tell you what, I wish we had it at halfback, I wish we had it at number 7, and I wish we had it at number 6.
I don't want Jackson Hastings.
Phil, stop trying to be...
Well, you're now warming to Wayne Bennett being England and Great Britain.
Well, I've no choice, have I? I've no choice.
Well,
it's going to be so, I've no choice. As long as he keeps picking English players.
But he's picking players on form. I think we all agree this is a good squad.
Absolutely.
I think what you've got to bear in mind is Scully might have an eye on a job in the south because he's been hanging around with his mate Nigel again.
Has he?
Well, so rumours suggest.
Where were you Sunday afternoon?
I was at Bradford.
Oh, so you did go to Bradford?
In a box? Were you in a box?
Absolutely.
Did you get some free beers?
Just a couple. I was driving, so I just had a couple with a
nice meal.
A nice meal. Yeah. Good company.
Good game.
Great performance by the Bulls. Fully deserved it. Yeah. Good company. Big Fog was there again. It's good company, Big Foggy there. Brilliant company. And we're due out. I think when we're due out for a curry on Wednesday night, me and Nige. So you never know.
Here we go.
You never know.
Instead of watching Leeds and Cass.
Oh, by the way, Phil, you were invited to the game yesterday, so don't give me this. He was invited to the game as well.
Were you invited, were you?
He was invited. Yes, you was. Hold on. Was you invited to the Bulls League game yesterday? Yes or no?
There was
straight answer. Yes or no?
There was an email.
I couldn't care less. Was you invited to the Bulls League game by Nigel? Yes or no? We don't sit on the fence on this show. Yes or no?
Did you get an invite? Or?
I'm just concerned this touch was might making a sickening decision, so I'm just getting rid of him. No, but Stephen said.
Was he invited?
No, but he said maybe Liam Watts' dad wrote a letter to Liam Bennett.
Oh,
See, Ben Barber's going to fall off.
Ben Barber's falling from grace.
Yeah. Tim's not happy with Robbie Mulhern being in the squad. People are saying Mike Cooper, where's he? He's the only one who is the big...
He has started the season superb.
He has.
There's plenty of time to get in the squad. As we saw last year, Tompkins wasn't in the initial thing, was he?
No.
He went on to play...
And it doesn't seem to be an age thing with the Knights, so how do we know that Mike Cooper tomorrow isn't going to be named in the Knights squad?
I would, I think Mike Cooper backs up what Scully says every week. Forwards want to play as long as they can, and Cooper does big minutes.
Oh, absolutely. Do you know what, as well, as I say, with this ruling what's been brought in, it's 10 subs now, is it? Or 8? 8. I tell you what, I'd like to see maybe go down to 6, because then you would see the proper warriors, and you would see the proper guys who all the time, you know, when they have been brought off after 25 minutes, they've been so frustrated. But you see them now, they want to stay out there. They want to play the full 80, don't worry about that.
Is one of the reasons that St Helens are so good at the moment because they've got this 8 interchanges off better than any other club?
Told you he was going to fall on us.
Maybe. Get a claim. He's cut his head. I saw it happen. He cut his head.
As well.
There's blood everywhere.
Do we know any good injury lawyers?
Actually,
yeah,
I think we do.
possibly. Come on, what's happening on social media?
Where would you play Connor for Great Britain? Says Craig.
Ledge?
Well, where that player in the centres, it doesn't look out of place at international level in the centre. So I think you've got to stick with him in the centres, haven't you? You know, and so there you go. But it's just again, the great thing about it, apart from the halfback situation, is that we've got quality players and a fair number of quality players in most positions at centre halfback. So yeah, but for me, Connor in the centres.
I'd play him at 6 at the moment.
Wind up the Fijians, Papua New Guineans and New Zealanders and Tongans.
Get under their ski.
People, we joke that this programme was held together by Sellotape, but that proves it is.
Yeah, and not very well.
Yeah.
No, yes,
I think we need to change Scully's phrasing, by the way, as another way of saying they play for the whole of a match rather than.
Oh, yeah.
Elsewhere on social media, Ian's obviously a fan of proper music. He says, I'm going in that one now.
Proper music.
Scully's been making plans with Nigel. He only wants what's best for him. Well done there, Ian. You win today's prize.
Hold on. What's
Have a
best for him?
biscuit.
Who wants what's best for him?
XTC.
What's
You've
best
lost,
for him?
I've lost it.
You're making plans for Nigel. You never heard? No.
No. Is it a song? Who
Yeah,
sang
yeah.
it? Who sang it?
XTC.
XTC.
Oh, right.
There you go.
Oh, right.
You're going to give us a verse?
No,
Santa's working overtime.
I'm lost.
That's about it.
I'm lost it.
You lost us.
Lost me.
Contemporary 90s, 80s
Yeah.
music reference there.
That was.
We don't have that in the jukebox in the Belle Isle Tavern.
So we're looking forward to the night squad then tomorrow, and that'll be next week's programme when we say X, Y, Z should have been.
The only disappointing thing for the Knights is that they're not playing anybody, are they?
Well, they could still.
Again, after the great work, what we're
There
doing.
is a chance that they might be.
Well, at this moment in time, Phil, there's no fix yet. So but all the great work what they did in Papua New Guinea, the lads really enjoyed it. Not just from a point of view where they went on tour and the culture from there, but they got a taste of international rugby league and they want more. Everybody wants more. The players will tell you they want more international sport, and for them not to get the opportunity, even to play against the likes of Fiji and Samoa, it's very, very disappointing.
I think there are ongoing talks for when Great Britain are touring in the Southern Hemisphere that opens a window for England to play over here, but it would be the England Knights, and the talk at the moment is persuading the likes of the French and the Welsh who have possibilities.
That wouldn't benefit us, Phil, because they're not good enough.
Well, but I think playing the England Knights will be beneficial not only for the England Knights, but will be beneficial for the French and the Welsh.
Why would it?
Especially if the England
Phil,
Knights
why
were
would it?
playing over
Because
there.
we
Well, you know what it's like to play. Not over
They're not good enough to play. They
are.
when you look at that squad, the England Knights, France, and the Wales, they're not going to be in a competition for the
I think
England Knights.
they're building up for a World Cup in 2021. They've already pre-qualified. The French and the Welsh. They've qualified for the World Cup in 2021. They want games. The French players that are playing for Toulouse and Catalan are good enough to take on an England Knights team in France, where you know how hard it is now, difficult it is in France.
Back in nowadays it was pretty tough, but nowadays it's not been pretty tough. Have you been listening to Alex McLeish? Because he reckons the Scotland side is a good side.
No, I was privileged.
Have you been listening to Alex on reverse psychology?
An audience with Marc Pelonc on Friday, the president of the French Federation.
Have you been Alex McLeish? Reverse psychology that Scotland are a good side. You can't tell me France and Wales are a good side.
France on French soil are a tough team. And they want more international competition.
You've had too much French wine in Catalans this weekend, Mr. Kaplan.
Well, Toulouse did beat the All-Stars of Toronto last week on home soil. So
We did.
And Gary says they've got the best halfback at the moment as well, Theo Fage, who might be going to the NRL. It's all exciting. Vive la France, or whatever they say. Toulouse second in the championship, Toronto top, because they beat Halifax yesterday on the telly. Although, the problem with Toronto being on the telly every week, and it's not their fault, is bar that game against Dewsbury, and bar the game they lost which wasn't on the telly, it's win quite comfortably.
Yeah, it was a bit of a disappointing game yesterday. I thought Halifax were really poor, if I'm honest. Did you watch it?
I didn't
you were busy.
I didn't see that, but I heard about it. But fair play to Toronto. But yeah, Halifax at the moment, they just seem to be out of sorts, don't they? You know,
I think so. There's something not quite right there.
They're not as defensively strong as they have been under.
Was Scott Morrell playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you wouldn't. I'm not being rude to Scott. He's a great player. You wouldn't have noticed he was playing yesterday. I certainly didn't notice. You know, an odd bit other than feeding the scrum.
Well, to be honest with you,
you want his best.
yeah, to be honest with you, Matt, with the way the Toronto players are and the squad what they've got and the quality what they've got,
Yeah.
all they have to do is stop Scott Mahone. They would have pinpointed Scott Mahone. You stop Scott Mahone, he stopped
So the good thing, right, when we had Toronto coming in, oh look, everyone wants to go watch Toronto. Is the question now? People won't go because they know pretty much Toronto are going to win.
Yeah.
They can watch it on the telly if we've got Sky. So is it now becoming a negative? Because everyone's. If you said to all the other team, you don't have to play Toronto until they get into the playoffs, to go, yeah, we won't bother. We won't, but wouldn't it? I just think it's a. And I think this is, you know, we're obviously going to talk about the New York City and the the removal of Hemel. What's the point in them funding loads of money into League One just to mean that the likes of Doncaster, Workington, Oldham, Hunslet have got one less place to get out of the division?
Yeah, that's the thing. That not only is it not attractive commercially or in terms of perhaps crowd attendances, because so many of the games would be a foregone conclusion, but it puts the development of those clubs back. So, for example, Newcastle, again, fantastic result for Workington.
Yeah.
But Newcastle have employed Dennis Betts, which won't be the cheapest option they could have come up with. They've signed some players who you would think on paper would take them towards the top of that division.
Yeah.
Are their ambitions going to be thwarted if we bring in two clubs who can go and sign anyone?
You say that right, and here's the one, right? What's the chap? What's he called? Seymour? I forget the guy.
Curdy.
Seymour Curdy. He's got a team in the Premiership in England, right? The problem, they might well get relegated.
Right.
The word is he's going to spend $6 million getting his team out of the Championship back into the elite.
Oh, is this on
Premiership.
Rugby?
So why are we not saying to this guy,
if you've got
mate,
£6 million,
do you want a place in Super League or not? It's going to cost you $3 million a year, whatever you want. Do you want in or not? Why are we messing about with these teams in League One?
That goes back to the debate we've had about bringing in expansion teams, and it's a really interesting debate, and they're having it in Australia as well at the moment, which is it's quite an interesting point in rugby league's history, that in both hemispheres expansion is now clearly on the agenda, and that Todd Greenberg is saying we're doing a root and branch survey of the whole sport, participation, money, next television deal, and it may well be that we have to either expand or relocate. Similar sort of debate to what we're having over here, which rugby league's never had before. But what is the plan? It's all right having the debate, but what is the plan? It's all very well saying please apply in April and talk to the other clubs about what you want to do, but what's the plan for the sport? Where do Newcastle fit into this? Where do Coventry, perhaps, who might have an investor, Wasps maybe might want at some stage to have more involvement or greater involvement in rugby league? But what is the plan? What are we trying to achieve over a period of time?
You see, also as well, say for instance, like at Keith, the players there, the players at Keith at this moment in time, they're on no contracts, they're on £200 a win and £50 a loss, right? And I don't want to imagine there be too many sides on much more money, lads, to be honest with you. So, can they really afford 4 days off work, maybe 5 days, because it depends what time they get back on the Monday, this sort of thing. Because to be honest with you, the side what they will, the players what they will sign for that team will be a quality side, so they're going to get battered when they go over there. So, what realistically is? It
comes back to what we've said all along. There's professional and there's semi-professional.
Exactly.
What's the point in pitting these guys? Toronto, the best club in the world, whatever their salary cap is, they've got Wilkie. They've got some tremendous players.
They've got players who should still be in Super.
Absolutely, and they can play at that level easy, consistent, week in and week out. But as I say, from this scenario, with New York and Ottawa, all right, we all talk about expansion, but the way they are looking at it. Don't sling them in League One. Sling them in the so they can, get the interest going and get the crowds there and get people talking about it, because it'd be a waste of time for Championship One. And also when we look at sometimes at the point of view where the visas applications and all this sort of thing, they may not take the strongest side, so it's just going to be embarrassing. But
this is the great thing, isn't it, about the way our sport is at the moment, is the fact that the Rugby Football League have abdicated the decision on whether New York and Ottawa will be in and left it up to the clubs.
Did you say turkeys and Christmas?
They're all here in the paper today. I've got League Weekly.
Also, by the way, I'll just throw this one in.
Is this from you or Nigel?
Well, it has been mentioned tonight. I throw my hat into the director of rugby at Ottawa. To have a word.
I've told you for the last 3 years you should have been asking.
I've told him to have a word. I'll be more than happy. It won't cost a lot of money. But the thing about it, it might not be able to do the show on Monday night.
Of course, the
We'd
other.
be happy.
Well, we'll have a
Well, we'll
Skype.
talk you way good, don't worry.
I think the other thing is that Nigel, of course, is involved in the International Federation. He would have no say whatsoever about these applications. And where they come.
Anyway,
None
so
at all.
I throw my hat into the. I tell you what, Brian Noble could do Toronto. I could do Ottawa. Don't worry about that. We've out now.
Nigeria's the future anyway.
Yeah, we keep trying to send you there, but we're just waiting for
One-way ticket.
Yeah.
Well, maybe halfway. We'll drop you off halfway.
I'm not flying. I'm not flying. I'm not going on one of them 737
Well,
Max 8s, am I?
We're best, yeah.
Leave it at that.
You got a hitch from Morocco.
Page 25.
What,
of the,
37,000 feet?
Page 25 of League Weekly is the official Turkey's voting for Christmas section. There's a nice big picture of Kevin Nicholas, who is the man who is the chairman of the Batley Bulldogs, one of the clubs who will decide the fate of New York and Ottawa and everywhere else. He has queried plans to develop new rugby league franchises in this article by our friend Ross Heppenstall. Putting aside finances, where are all the players coming from, he says. Invariably they were looking at existing players in England as there are no Canadians in the Toronto team. How many Batley players? How many Batley lads are in the Batley team?
Totally irrelevant.
I know
That
there
is an irrelevant
I know there might be
argument
some
about
Batley.
where the players come from. That where, as in geographically where they come from, where we get the players from is a valid argument.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
But where they are born is completely irrelevant.
To be a success, there needs to be a TV deal in Canada which generates income to make the whole thing financially feasible, and Toronto need to start to produce Canadian players. I'll tell you what is amusing. Where are the Championship clubs producing their TV deal then, and League One?
But how are they going to
fund their
produce?
sport?
How are they going to produce a TV deal if they're in different divisions?
And Andrew Chalmers, in his weekly sermon to the masses, otherwise known as his column in the TNA, our sports leaders are still working out how to move forward with Championship in particular, with new applications on the horizon from New York and Ottawa, which of course is Hemel. It is a particularly thorny subject, for most people would roundly welcome a wider geographical footprint for the sport. But at the same time, the RFL does have an obligation to look after and promote its own (brackets UK) members' interests.
It's promoting the
Balls
bash.
there.
Don't want the bash.
You can't get
Forget
to
How
bash.
many tickets you sold? How many tickets you sold? How many tickets you sold, Batley and Bradford, for your game against who Bradford got? Halifax and Batley against Dewsbury. Oh, I might not go. I might cancel it.
If you don't go, the bash is cancelled if you don't go.
Actually, the RFL will be happy because it'll save about £100 on the refreshments for 2 days, Rich.
It's a bit off. No, I think you. Well, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say something and we decided not to. But there you go. People wait for the Leeds rant. That's coming later. Glenn is here. Someone who, like myself, is in Canada. Who grew up watching pro teams playing full-time pro teams, not pro teams play full-time part-time teams. So it really seems to be a problem. The problem is, as we keep saying, there are only so many clubs and places who can support a professional team, and it doesn't matter where they are necessarily, because as we saw in football with Blackburn Rovers, if Jack Walker wanted to throw hundreds of millions of pounds at the club because it was a club he loved because it's where he comes from, that's great. When that money runs out, look where they are now. So the same problem is the same for all these clubs in the Championship and League One and in Super League. If the money's not there, it doesn't matter if you're from London or Wakefield or Timbuktu. It matters if you've got the money. If you ain't got the money, don't matter.
Fair enough. Get your tweets coming in at 4020 Live. You can get in touch via the Facebook and on the old YouTube.
Yes.
Our subscribers continuing to grow, by the way.
Yeah, now we need we've got 25% of the number we need on Facebook, so somehow we need to gain an assistant there so we can get advertising on Facebook. I don't think that's going to happen.
Why don't you do a big marketing purge at the
marketing.
Summer Bash?
Yeah, what?
Sandwich boards.
Run on the pitch like Daryl Powell.
Well, I was going to.
There you go. Oh,
Bit like
you amateurs, you think? Amateurs.
Bit like sitting the Smith on the promenade at Blackpool.
Please watch out for
Bruce Willis.
I didn't see this because I wasn't here on Friday, but explain to me Daryl Powell encroaching the playing area while the game is going on. We're all huge fans of Daryl.
It's
and
not the
everything's
first
done
time
with-
he's done this.
No, was it disruptive to the game? Was it entering the
No,
field?
he didn't
of
walk
play?
on when they're in the middle of driving it up.
What, as if
I
he
don't
was
know, like walk straight. Hold on, lads, hold on.
Like Lee Breeze.
He walked over, snarling. I think if he could have If he could have throttled Greg Eden live on telly, I think he was
Would that have
close.
been more entertaining than the game?
I didn't see the game because I was at Huddersfield, but was he that bad, Eden, was he?
Mate.
What did he do?
Look, let's be fair. St Helens were brilliant.
Yeah.
Everything St Helens did came off. Everything Cass did didn't come off.
Right.
You know, it was the ball fell to Eden. They kicked it straight to Eden. He got it. It bounced. He picked it up, and he thought, "I've got Theo Fars in front of me." And if he'd have gone back with it, he was gone. 90 yards going. And he forgot to catch the ball. He set off without the ball. It bounced off him. I actually thought he was really unlucky in the second half. He got the ball ripped out and he got crushed. And they give a knock on. And I think at that point, Paul went, right, that's enough. But what happened was he conceded an error or whatever. They'd scored from it. They were taking the goal kick. And I don't know whether he was either in the stand going back over the other side or he was coming back. And he just walked across the pitch. There was no, it was literally, I can walk around it or walk across it a bit quicker. I'll walk across. I've seen him do that before, I'm sure, just before the end of play.
So
he was looking at his players. He swore quite a few times. And he was shaking his head, swearing, muttering. Because they looked at him at one point, and I just started laughing because you could see what he was saying. And then they quickly moved away from him, and he just carried on, and he went up the thing. But
the social media exploded, obviously.
If they hadn't shown it, if they hadn't shown it, if they were concentrating on the kicker, no one would have ever noticed. It was pathetic.
So Darren walking across. So St Helens were taking a kick at goal.
Yeah, down the other end of the field. The ball wasn't even in play, really.
Right. So then,
just walked across.
So he's walked straight.
Yeah, rather than walking. Well, all right. So I'll give you this one. What happens if he walks around in front of the Saints fan? They'll start. I'm not saying they wouldn't throw some at him or someone swears at him or.
How long was it before half time? Seconds?
A couple of minutes.
The problem is recreating this moment here. James Child. This is the beauty of James Child. They had to stand there waiting for Daryl Powell to get off the pitch. Oh, James Child's falling apart.
You killed him.
We've broken James.
You killed him.
So
Rugby league is a family game.
Are you sure that's not Phil Bett or not?
You've done Ben Barber and James Child.
Yeah, he's on spree.
I think it's a bit of Chris Houston as well. We're not. I'm blaming them other people who keep stealing our people. But yeah, James Child couldn't resume the game because Daryl Powell's wandering across the pitch as if he owned the place.
He does.
So it was a mountain out of a molehill.
It might. Look, I don't think it's an issue. I certainly don't think it's a problem.
There are far bigger issues in rugby league than Daryl Powell.
Yeah, exactly. And if anything, it was, and again, if you wanted to market stuff, that's the word coming out. You know what I mean? You should have made that in.
Which, of course, with Castleford playing on Thursday on TV, that's something now we should be ramping up.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I tell you what. I hope he's doing the same on Thursday, Edinburgh, then, when he's getting his backside kicked, leads the lead, and he let him come on halfway and give his team another roasting. Let's hope it's happening this Thursday. What do you reckon, Phil?
There's more chance of him bringing a 12-pack of lager and just sitting on the centre spot.
What's he always say? We don't live in fantasy
and not being disturbed. Traffic not passing.
Leeds are in crisis. They had a dig this weekend. They had a dig.
Lost.
They had a dig.
One from 8.
I know they lost. Yeah, don't worry.
Are you happy with your team having a dig?
Are we doing it now? Or?
I would rather just. I actually take that for granted that my team are going to have a dig when they turn up.
No, but what I'll say is then, from a point of view where they had a dig, let's just say they played better for longer.
What do you always say? 80 minutes.
Correct.
Did they play for 80 minutes? No, they lost. Right, let's move on.
Hold on.
We'll talk about it in a bit.
Right,
we'll talk about it in a bit. You've been spending too much time with him, mate.
Oh, no.
No. You've been spending too much time with him.
Peter's one of these Salford fans who thinks the world's against them.
Salford owe me a fortune.
Yeah. So if it was Ian Watson, we'd be deducted 4 points, he says, for walking across the pitch.
The issue for Salford is that Ian Watson has got his team to the point where he wants to be challenging the so-called big teams. And their home record this season, admittedly not looking at the league table as they've lost to Leeds, that's Leeds' only victory. I just thought I'd mention that before anybody else does on social media. St Helens and now Wigan. Yeah. Those are the teams that all at home, and those are the teams that Ian Watson wants to be competitive with on a regular basis in terms of their history, not where they are at the moment. And on 3 occasions now, he's had to come out and say he didn't feel the team defended as well as they could have done. They need to get over that hurdle. What they're doing is fantastic. His coaching methods we admire immensely. The players that he's got, he's trying to get the best out of a small squad. But these are the games they've got to start winning.
Tom's been on. He says that Powell shouting at his players against St Helens is another way to market their next game at Magic Weekend, which has been marketed poorly yet again. Maybe they've got next week on the back of the papers. Come to Magic Weekend, wearing Liverpool, it's great. I don't know.
See Daryl Powell shout.
Yeah, and Leeds versus London again. See Leeds versus London again. See any Matty eat a sandwich.
He wasn't happy. He wasn't happy, Daryl. They were.
Was it like in the presser after?
Well,
I didn't go to the game.
Oh.
But
I was going to say.
He was surprisingly verbose on the telly.
Yeah, he full of praise for Saints. Saints were great. You know, it was one of them where Cass could have played well and probably still would have lost, but they were. You couldn't make it up. They were that far apart.
So Saints, the last couple of games have just been going through the motion there, but on Monday they were pretty hot, were they?
Yeah, they played
Friday.
well. Yeah, they
Well,
played well.
Castleford's 2 defeats this season have been to the 2 teams above them. Would that be a worry for Daryl Powell?
No.
Was the gap between first and third worrying for the standard of Super League as a whole?
No, they had a bad game.
Right.
They had a bad game. You know that.
And obviously they'll rectify that Thursday.
Well, I would. Well, look, if they don't, then you start to look back at the game and think, I think they're allowed one day off. You know, I just wonder. Have Cass gone the other way on the mentality thing, where they'd make a big deal out of beating Leeds and Saints early in the season, and now they actually know. And this isn't the message that Daryl Powell will be sending, but inside some of these players go, it doesn't matter what we do today. It really doesn't matter. It's what we do at the end of the season. And I wonder if it's gone too far the other way. Where
well, that's the same philosophy.
Well,
that's the same philosophy for everybody, isn't it? You know, if you know you're going to be up there, that's the same philosophy because, as we all know, you don't win anything at this time of year. You don't win anything in June and July.
You've still got to be at the upper reaches. It
was the worst Cass performance.
Yeah, you've still got to have your momentum going from there. But just sounding with your voice from there, I reckon you'll be tipping Cass quite easy against Leeds on Thursday then.
Not quite easy. I think they've got one or two. I mean, there was rumours today. Gellin's got a Cass.
Well, I was just about to say,
but
that's
that rumour I got
Gellin's
told might not be happening. So
one of the people.
Yeah.
Few people asking about that on social media. We know as much. We don't know anything.
Yeah.
We're not
Tells
influencers in the
Well,
same way that...
also as well, what about Roberts going? Is that just is it where Roberts had a few injuries and this sort of thing? Allegedly at times
he's left, hasn't he? Hasn't I don't think has he officially retired? I don't know if
I
he
don't
has
think
or
he
not.
was retired.
Yeah, but he's left by mutual consent, which means he was happy to go and they were happy to let him go.
Yeah,
So,
well, I don't think the relationship between him and Darrell was 100%. To be honest,
he's had a lot of injuries. When he played and he was fit, he's a good player. But they would argue, they look at it and go, well, we're paying him a lot of money and he's never playing.
Yeah.
What that would say is they're obviously quite keen to get someone in the other way. But who that's going to be, I don't know.
We've been told off for moving the goalposts. Apologies. Also,
We're always moving the goalposts on this programme.
Par 0349 says, very disappointed by the comments about Powell on the pitch. If it had been any other coach, and then doesn't finish his or her comment.
I wouldn't have
There's
a
so many
problem.
people-
No,
I wouldn't have a problem. I wouldn't have had a problem if it had been Brian McDermott, if it had been Ian Watson, if it had been Justin Holbrook. I wouldn't have an issue. I don't know why he came over. There was someone got injured, didn't they? Was it Massey went off and he'd hurt his arm, and it was at that point when he came up. So whether he'd gone to check on it, I don't know. I don't actually what the outcome of that is. It looked quite bad for Nathan Massey. He's had a lot of problems with his scaphoid, hasn't he, in his hand, and he went off holding his hand, which didn't look very nice. But
Is it an incitement to pitch invasion?
Well, I would have said it'd have been the other way if he'd have walked around the edge. If he'd have walked around the edge in front of the St Helens fans, it would have been it could have been a problem.
Yeah.
And then I'm not saying Saints would have done anything, but
should
when
he
it
not...
takes one person to say something or throw his pie or whatever, you don't.
So
I'd have said it was the best thing was go straight through.
Playing devil's advocate, because obviously some of our correspondents seem to think that it was more of an issue than perhaps we've made it out to be. If he takes the decision to watch the game from the other side, does that not then mean that he cannot cross the pitch until
maybe this is one of those things, Phil, that actually says, right, yeah, you're not allowed. You're not allowed.
Once you've gone over that side, that's it. But if you feel that things are going to go wrong and you need to be next to your players, then don't go over that side of the pitch. That's entirely your choice. But once you've made that choice, you've got to stay where you are till half time.
Yeah, maybe. It's just such a non-event for me. I really don't.
No,
I agree. Yeah.
You know what? If he hadn't been shouting and swearing, they wouldn't have even shown it on the telly.
Yeah,
but it was that you could tell. I think they said if looks could kill, Greg Eden would be in trouble. I think that was the comment on the telly.
What about if somebody said, even though walking across the field, talking to his players, even if that's berating them for their performance, that counts as coaching?
He didn't speak to them.
Well,
he was
wasn't
walking.
talking
He was
to
walking.
himself, though, was he?
No, he was walking, and he was for want of better, it was effing and jeffing.
I think he was telling them what he thought of their performance.
He looked at Greg Eden and he swore a few times.
But is that, in the strictest sense of the term, is he coaching
Well,
during the game?
Oh,
But
do
here's
me
the
a
problem.
favour.
No,
I'm
Do
playing
me a
the
favour.
devil's advocate.
Yeah.
on
So what, he
behalf
can't
of
stand
our-
on the sideline and go,
No, no,
"Oi,
that's-
Greg, you'd have been nearer to him
That's
if you
not
was on
catch
the
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 sideline."
same as
Catch-
walking across the pitch.
Nah,
That's like,
do me a
Apparently,
favour.
it's
against,
when the PDRL coach comes on and tells you, you've got to start making
No.
some tackles.
Yeah.
why?
Is it
why-
any different?
Yeah, but he's
I'll tell-
right.
I'll-
He's right.
I'll say to mate, listen, when I were playing proper, I did tackles. I don't you be telling me a tackle.
Why?
Get off the field.
Or is it no different to a water carrier? Again, I'm
Well,
not
that's the
thinking too much
Why-
out of something
It was a
that
non-event.
there are people
It
on
was
the
a
pitch all
non-event.
the time.
It was a non-event.
Why do professional players need someone to go on the pitch and tell them which way to go in the defensive line as if they're under sevens? Alan
Because some of
says.
them play like they're under sevens.
Alan says, I hope that on Thursday it is the Rhinos dance team walking across the pitch. Have we not heard Alan?
They're not
Gone.
there anymore, they've gone.
But there you go. Have I had my laptop removed because I'm cheating on predictions? No, I just forgot it, Pat. To be honest, this is the kind- this is the kind of
we have
ramshackle
two
nonsense.
bits of technical equipment and one don't work and he forgot the other one. You know, one job sure right
Yeah.
has blobbed again.
Oh, I've forgotten today.
It's a good job he remembered the biscuits. Go and
Well,
eat
actually,
his hands in.
he didn't.
Yeah.
They came from Spain.
I know,
so
I know.
We don't rely on him for the scoff.
Neil says Powell did what he did because the cameras were on there. Russ says move on. Sandy's talking about how many people went to Halifax yesterday. Halifax have had an extra 590 fans with the
No, I'm not having
So-
that. I'm not having that Sunday.
super.
I don't think that's right, is
More
it?
impacts.
And I'll tell you what, that crowd yesterday looked quite poor, I thought. I'm going to say
What were the 1700 or something? Wasn't it?
2,090, but I've been there when there's been 2,000 there and there were
Yeah.
not that many there. You know, it looked a poor crowd, I thought, really. You know, and I go back to the fact that I think there's something wrong at Halifax. A great run club, great coach,
Maybe
but
I
it's
think
almost like they've hit the glass ceiling and it's like, well, where do we go from here? I don't know.
But isn't that the-
Although they are level with Lee in fifth.
Oh,
so
well, exactly. I mean, I'm right there writing them off one win, they're in the top five, you
Yeah,
know. But I guess it's maybe I expect more of them, Phil. I guess that's the
and I think we
criticism.
expect them to be more resilient. I think the issue
Yeah.
this year has been they've conceded a lot of points, which
Yeah.
is on Halifax line.
Yeah.
Isn't this the problem with the championship though? It's not like the championship in football. You can't talk about the second team football in the way you do about rugby league or rugby union to that extent. There are teams in there who have no chance whatsoever of getting the Super League at all. Only a handful are going to challenge for that one solitary place to replace Leeds. Ha 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 ha.
Oh, yeah.
No, we'll come to that later. That's it. There's a point for
Yeah.
later. There's a point for later.
Come on, we had a dig.
Tim's asked if the Toronto Nobles
To be fair, Wakey are only 4 points off the drop zone, lads. So
When will we
anytime
come
you want to get stuck in.
Well,
No, I like Leeds anyway. They were the only people.
I like Leeds.
No, seriously. When Radio Yorkshire
Hold on,
closed down,
we haven't had our press thing yet, so be careful what you say.
when Radio Yorkshire closed down, they were very nice and
They
sent a
were.
tweet out. So
Yes,
I like
they were.
Leeds. I've got nothing
Yes, they
against
were.
Leeds. It's funny when they lose.
They showed their class,
Yeah,
unlike
but
Rich and I when
yeah.
they get beat. But never mind.
Very classy club. So there you go.
It's tongue in cheek,
I know.
Paul. It's
Oh, tongue in, what, from you two, tongue in
Yeah,
cheek?
I said before,
Do me a
the real
favour.
club we get a
Do
brand.
me a
We-
tongue in cheek.
we
Do
know
me a
that all the
favour.
correspondents waiting
Yeah.
for Leeds in crisis love them really.
Mark says Halifax fans are unhappy with Marshall this year. But as you say, they've hit the ceiling, haven't
Oh,
they? They
they've hit
can't
the
get any
ceiling.
higher than they
No,
are. Because
you
they are
know.
not a club who are going to have to throw money and destabilise their club to, finish second and not go up.
Yeah.
What's the
the
difference
point?
between second and
What's the point?
not being relegated, I guess?
Well, and they've been there as well, haven't they? When we had the top eights and they finished in the top four, there was a significant sum of money that came their way. The following season, they didn't quite make the top four, and it very nearly bankrupted the
It
club.
is one
So-
for you. It is one for you. Sandy said, she was there. It looked really busy. It's always busy where Sandy. She's a popular lady.
So it's on telly.
Cameras on the telly. I see
Cameras
more
on.
of her on the telly than
Huddersfield Giants.
I see a Richard Shaw right when I'm with him. But
And you can hear her as well,
yeah,
because she's passionate.
would Halifax get more fans now if they were second in the championship, no promotion, but going to win the championship? Would that be better for them? Playing against part-time teams in a division that they can win.
I think if
because with the best will in the world, they are not winning that division.
No, I think if you get a monetary reward for winning something, if you get silverware that you can promote off the back of, I think if you've got the chance to get to a venue like Wembley, for example, because you're in a competition that you've genuinely got a chance of winning, that in the short term is everything that Halifax would aspire to, unless they got a commercial backer that wanted to do what the likes of David Argyle has done with Toronto. And at the moment, those backers aren't out there for traditionally based clubs, so it would appear. So yes, that's what we've said for close on 2 years, that the chasm now between being a full-time club and a part-time club is such that each need their own wherewithal to be as successful as they can be. And Kevin Nicholas, who's in there saying, I don't know whether we want expansion teams, he doesn't want to be in Super League himself anyway. He knows the limitations about it. He's the chairman that we've said has got it absolutely right for a community-based club that attracts between 1,500 and 2,500 people, and are probably not going to get above that ceiling.
Yeah.
And
Would that be a
as
worry
it's
for them that they got 857 against Toulouse on Saturday?
Massively, absolutely massively.
I should point out to the people on YouTube that Mark's moving the mic because that's connected to Facebook.
Yes.
That's technical
yes.
issues.
Yeah.
So we've got any of the usual stuff on there. I thought when you were saying about Halifax, I thought you were going to say, will they get bigger crowds if they move to Halifax, Nova Scotia?
Yes, good point. Why don't they do that?
Andy says we should rebrand the championship as a lower tier Super League. But then doesn't that kind of...
Well, to be honest with you, it's not super, is it?
Well,
Super
exactly.
League,
That's
Super
the
League
phrase
at times it's super, is it? You know what I mean? So it'll just make an embarrassment. No, you can't keep putting super and super and super, can you?
I'll tell you what
it's
is
not.
interesting. You know, we always wonder where the players are going to come from. And what London have shown is that the lads in the Championship can hold their own. And, you know, again, yesterday a little bit unlucky. I think they give Hull too much start. But
I'm glad you've made a point there, Matt, because I was at a game on Friday night, Huddersfield and OKR, right?
Yeah.
And the talking point in the press.
Hold on, no, the talking point in the press room
yes.
was how many pies you ate. So do you want to tell us how many pies you had?
One. And
Whatever. That's not what we were told.
Oh, mate. I didn't get there while 7 o'clock night, but I had one. It was the last one as well, to be honest with you. But
So you did officially eat all the pies.
I had,
You ate all the pies
There
that
might
were
have
left.
only been one.
I must admit these 32s are nipping after
Oh,
But anyway.
where's the bell gone? Where's the bell?
But listen, so you talked about the quality, right? But from a serious point now, they're talking to the press about, okay, they can't win tonight because look at the bench. They can't win tonight. And I'm thinking, hold on. These lads here, they've been asked to play because they've got injuries. All the squads have 25, 28. If I was coaching that side of the senior players, I'd be saying, hey, listen, have you heard the rubbish what people are saying here about the bench, what we've got? And if I were on that bench and the young kids who were on there, I would be saying, tell you what, I'm going to put a marker down.
But is it not the second week in a row that all the bench hadn't been used? Was that right? Did he use all his subs?
No, I didn't use one of them because they were only 18 or so and he just come out of a boot. So I don't know. But anyway, I just think it's a total poor excuse. If that was me, and I was one of the senior players who was injured and couldn't be playing, I would say, hey, listen, don't listen to this tosh. You know, you go out there, you're a professional rugby league player, you want to make your debut as a Super League player, put a marker down there and go out and enjoy yourself and express yourself. But it were all just dire. And taken away from the bench from there, Ulkis Rovers, a performance on Friday night. All right, I just feel we're okay, if I'm honest with you. Just okay. They didn't have to, be anywhere
How did
near
Gaskell play?
quality, sheer
Yeah.
quality. The spine there, Gaskell, Leeming, and McIntosh. I was there on behalf of the Man of Steel, and they got my 3-2-1.
What do you make of Darnell McIntosh's haircut?
It's a shocker. Simple as that. And, well, it's a shocker. But from Ulkinson Rovers' point of view, after 30 minutes, forget about the bench. The players who were on that field and all the senior players, they were an absolute disgrace because they give in. And I tell you what, there were plenty of followers from OKR as well. I think maybe brought again about 5, maybe 600 or so. They were a disgrace to that jersey after 30 minutes because they wanted to be on the bus, back home, down the M62. And one thing for sure, they'll be blaming the bench this Friday. Do you know why? Because they're going to St Helens.
Well, here's one for you. This is God's honest now. I forget who they've got a big game the week after.
Oh, OKR, Leeds. They play Leeds, OKR.
Yeah, they play Leeds and then they play Huddersfield again in a couple of weeks. Do they need to have been off? Been off Friday.
Oh yeah. Well,
send the weakest team they can get away with.
Exactly. I'll tell you what OKR will do now because for me, what I've seen from there, and I've said London will stay up. So OKR, they're going to be in the mire regarding because where the OKR going to win 7 games to get 14 points. What OKR will do with Tim Sheens will do exactly what Danny was doing, picking and choosing where they think they could get the 2 points to tick the box.
Isn't this absolutely what is wrong with Super League?
Correct.
It is. I think Brian's here with the team. Now you've got to be really careful.
Yeah, don't give away Brian's identity.
We can see who Brian might be.
Welcome to the weekly. Oh, you've broken the thing Steve Prescott, Man of Steel, NBA votes, panel results. Wakefield Trinity versus Warrington Wolves. I think I know who was the unknown legend at Wakefield, because I spotted them coming in and I thought, I wonder why they're here. And then I worked it out.
Who was it, Keith?
I think it was Keith Senior, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
I thought so.
3 points, Blake Austin. 1 try and 1 assist at the end, probably made the key difference. Thank you very much. 2 points, Kyle Wood. 1 point.
Kyle, did you see how he played in the first half? He was the worst player on the field. He took him off after 20 minutes.
We still don't know who picked Tom Briscoe the other week, though, do we? To get the 3 points.
Well, Wood was brilliant second half,
Yeah.
but he was awful first
1
half.
point, Mike Cooper.
Yeah.
Cass versus St Helens. 3 points, Johnny Lomax with his hat.
Yeah.
2 points, Peter Matautia. 1 point, Alex Walmsley.
Yeah.
Minus 3 points, Greg Eden. Oh, it's a bit harsh.
Bit
Huddersfield versus Old Kingston Rovers. 3 points, Lee Gaskell. 2 points, Cruz Leeming. 1 point, Darnell McIntosh.
Just told you that.
Gaskell. He was involved in everything Giants created and strong kicking game, including 7 goals.
Fair enough.
Well,
You
those
could
your
almost
words?
have written that, couldn't you?
I did write it.
Did you write? Did you?
Yeah, with me. Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? When I can concentrate enough for 6 seconds, I can spell English.
Get a whole sentence out.
I can spell English, you know. Yeah. Actually, when I was asked to write why I picked Gaskell, I thought,
It's like getting your homework again.
oh God, I had to make phone calls. How do I spell?
Lots of points.
How do I spell?
So now what we do is look for the really basic writing, and we'll know he's been.
Catalans versus Leeds. 3 points. Fuad Yaha. He scored all the tries. In fact, that's what it says. 4 tries and an overall strong performance. 2 points, Braden William. 1 point, Ash Hanley. London.
Scored 3 tries.
Yeah. London versus Hull. Josh Griffin got the 3.
Yeah.
2 points, Danny Holton. 1 point, Alex Walker. Josh scored 2 tries and set up another. He ran strong and sound when moved to the full-back position. If you
Seems
watch
like
that video,
scoring tries gets you
Yeah.
points in the...
so don't be one of these players who does lots of tackles and stuff. There's no point. You're going to get no glory. Salford versus Wigan. Guess who got the 3 points? George Williams. Oh, yeah.
Scored 3 tries.
2 points. No, there's no comments from the unknown legend here. 2 points, Josh Jones. 1 point, Tommy Luluai. There you go.
Fair
Bad
enough.
week for James Rowe.
Do you know what, fellas, as well? Can I just put a question out there to any coaches? I know the Super League clubs and the Championship clubs and Division 1 clubs coaches won't respond to it, but I just want to ask a question. This weekend, you know, Yaha scored 4 tries. You know, if they're a winger, as I said last week, and they just stay on the touchline, they didn't score any of them tries. So I want to put a question out there to any coaches, please, send a message in, tweet in, or whatever you want to do, and please tell me why you are asking wingers to come in to try and tackle a centre, leave the opposite winger 10, 15 yards for a simple running. What is the purpose of that sort of
St
defending?
Helens scored 2 tries straight from scrums from the first tackle against Cass, and it was like, what are you doing?
What's the winger doing?
What are you doing?
It's because again, I say it every week to people. If the winger stays on the touchline, the winger doesn't score.
Yeah.
What's happening on the inside of the field has got nothing to do with him. If I'm coaching my winger and saying you don't go anywhere, I couldn't care less if they score inside. It's got nothing to do with you. Your winger does not get on the outside. If he gets on the outside here, he's over the sideline.
Can I make an
He's over the
observation
sideline.
about this scoring from scrums? And I don't know who was in the back line, but I've got a feeling if Saints put their back line in the backs and the other team have got forwards in there, the backs are going to run quick around the forwards, and therefore they're always going to create the chance in the corner out there. I just wondered. I saw they did it against Cass. I was like, oh my word! They twice. I think they scored straight from us. Regan Grace scored 1 in the corner, not an hand.
Well, I think Leeds in one attack in the scrum, 25 yards out, with 3 forwards. I forgot who were at standoff. I think with Jamie Jones and the ball into Cameron Smith. I was thinking, I tell you what. I just wonder back at Leeds days if Stevie Pitchford had said to John Holmesy, we've got an attacking scrum 25 yards out. Get your head in that scrum. I'm going to stand off. I knew exactly. You talk about the bleats, what Daryl Powell was saying. I can imagine what Holmesy would have said. But it just makes me laugh at time from there. But if there's any coaches out there, please, whatever level you coach, not any Super League or any coach, just come back and tell me why you're asking wingers to come in 10 and 15 yards and leave the opposite winger a free running. Does that make sense, Phil? Can you understand
Well, it's
it?
like
'Cause you watch rugby.
watching the game on Saturday.
Can you imagine Alan Smith or John Ackey doing that?
But it was bizarre, the game on Saturday, because Leeds were unplayable on the left-hand side. So Horrell and Handley were causing absolute havoc. But on the opposite side, it was the complete reverse.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was like watching a mirror image of the same game. And obviously that happens in a lot of the matches.
It happens every week, every game, Phil.
And there is obviously some tactic being employed across the game.
But it's not working.
And it's worked on one side and not the other.
It's not working. It's not working, is
Is
it?
it not just people prefer to pass that way, and that's the way?
Yeah,
they always
well,
attack?
that
No,
might be
but,
something to do
no,
with
but
it,
listen,
but-
fellas, the point is, if that winger stays on the touchline, that winger doesn't score. The only way he scores is if he comes on the inside. He doesn't score easy, because how many easy tries are you seeing walk-ins where they've got 15 yards and they're just easy scoring?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't.
A, it's good to see how quickly some people delete their tweets these days. But B, as you know, one of my favourite parts of this programme, whether we're here or we're elsewhere, is calling out people on social media who have a go at us. Hello to Claret and Gold, who saying we were negative about the exciting expansion clubs wanting to join.
We
Rugby
haven't
League.
even discussed it properly yet.
We just said it's down to the clubs. If the words of the Batley chairman and the Bradford chairman are negative, that's not my fault. What can I do? Go listen,
I
go
think
listen
there
to
is
other
a
programmes.
Walking then, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Walking.
well, I like doing that actually.
There's a further
See you,
debate.
Claret and Gold. Go
Yeah.
go listen to the other lot.
There's a further debate to be had on expansion. It's all very well presenting to the other clubs.
It
And
should be
it's
their
all-
By the way,
decision,
did,
shouldn't it?
No,
did we
and-
not say about him? Shouldn't they just be going up higher level?
Right. And
We didn't
it's-
say we don't want him in.
No, yeah.
And
So
also,
he's a fool as well.
They're going to be a quality side playing against quality opposition.
but it's
That's what we're saying.
also, and again, before we've seen any of the details, it's supposed to fit in with the Rugby League strategy for whatever we have a strategy for. So tell us the strategy, because that's not fair on the clubs presenting if they don't know what the strategy is. How many teams do we want? The other thing is, there needs to be a proof of funding with both of these bids. So, what do we know about the two bids that we have on the table at the moment? First is we all know Ricky, Ricky Wilby, who's heading up the New York bid. Ricky needs finance behind him, and it may well be that he has that finance behind him. But until we know details of that finance, then again, I'm not sure any of us can say what the bid actually is. I think it's the same, exactly the same with Eric Perez. Eric Perez introduced the idea of Toronto, but it was David Argyle's money.
Yeah, yeah.
And as soon as David Argyle came in, Eric Perez, who is still a director, because that's how Toronto was set up in the first place, moved aside because Eric himself doesn't have access to resource. So although he's got a partnership with a marketing and development team in Ottawa, they have said that you can quite happily come in with our using our ground, using our marketing, but we are not putting money in.
Yeah.
So I think before anybody decides whether you're pro or anti-expansion, whether clubs are going to be presented with something that's valuable, can we please have details of the actual
if they've got the money,
physical
if they've got the money,
and if they've got money, as a
they've got
sport,
money, I
how
want
the
them
hell
in.
can we turn that
I want
down?
him in, but I don't want him in League One. I
Yeah,
don't think it's
but-
beneficial.
but
As I
if
said
they-
last week,
Yeah.
Toronto have blazed a trail. They've had all the toothache by,
And-
this didn't work, that don't work.
And they've over-invested.
Yeah. I don't want to see New York wasting the money with the best will in the world playing bloody Keith.
Number one,
What's the point
we
in
want
that?
to know that they've
What
got
is
the
the
money.
point in that?
Well,
Yeah.
in Major League Soccer, which is in America, they don't stick them in the second division for a bit and say, well, go play back and beyond Rovers or whatever. They stick them. David Beckham's team isn't in the American second division, is it? The problem is, you're asking the clubs, as Phil eloquently mentioned, to vote for Christmas. Why would you let the clubs decide? Half of them can't run themselves. We know this. We know this to be true. Some questions on social media.
Go on.
Andrew says, whatever happened to going around the grounds for the show? We will do that eventually.
We had
We are planning.
our
planning
plans
lots of
were
things.
disrupted somewhat,
Yeah.
but they are back on track. We will be going.
And now we've got even
In
more
fact,
plans.
we've had an invitation to go to London in July.
Have we?
Yes, and even him.
I'll be allowed to go this time.
Our car is at Bradford that day.
I'm up on Ottawa.
We are.
So do we, in about 18 feet of snow.
Bit harsh.
All right, 17.
We are planning lots of things, but whether we ever do them or not it remains to be seen. But fingers crossed.
They
stay
are
the
just
big-
laid plans.
Yeah, stay tuned to of not just men and mice. He says,
Mainly mice.
raised eyebrow. Having upset people on social media. I didn't mean to, but I always seem to do.
Who are you upset now, Rich?
Well,
everyone.
yeah.
Everyone.
So,
Yeah,
He's sitting over from you in the upsetting people stakes now.
Is that because you're such an influencer?
Nah, I don't know why people pay attention to me
Just
tweets.
negative.
But
That's all he is.
all I did was crawl back and say, I didn't mean it. So I'm all right now again, so that's good. Especially what we do on this programme.
Not.
Elsewhere, Stephen has asked, ask Gary for me, does he rate David Fafita as the best prop in Super League? It's the best one with pink shorts.
Well, Liam Watts is the best. Liam Watts.
What about Luke Thompson?
I was going to say, Liam Watts, Luke Thompson, and Alex Walmsley are the best front rowers.
There you go, not a big Dave.
Simple as that. You know, Dave's all right with the impact what he makes, isn't he? You know, but you give me players who give me good minutes and give me very, very good quality. Then Walmsley, Thompson, and Watts any day of the week. Any day of the week.
Okay.
Were Wakefield unlucky having scored 6 tries to 5 as it turned out, or
After the
were they so poor early on that they gave themselves?
You
a
can't
bad
give
time?
anyone
I tell you what, if you know with that, you remember what about the easier goal what Bruffy missed?
I know, he rushed it.
He
didn't he?
very
rushed
much,
it.
yeah, very much just, and I thought to myself, I tell you what, the way it seems to be changing here, this might cost Wakefield. Eh?
Well, I made the point, and I said Warrington by 1 to 6. Sorry, no, by 6 to 10. So I was gutted when they scored at the end and didn't kick the goal. But they've done this before, Warrington. They did it against Cass. They had them put to bed.
Did it
They
against
eased up.
Leeds
They
in
did
the
it against
first
Leeds.
round.
They did it against Wigan, and they did it this week.
Is that a worry?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
it
think
is.
they'll get done. I think they'll get done.
ruthlessness?
I think they'll get done in a big game. And from speaking to Steve Price, you can watch it. Can you on the
Yes.
YouTube
Yeah,
page
yeah,
if you're
yeah.
a subscriber? Get subscribed. Oh no, we're going to have to put a plug in there.
Oh, have you got a plug?
Yeah, but that means you'll have to turn the mic
No,
off.
well, that's not my fault, is it? Where's your plug? It's over there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's over there. Yeah, it's over there. I didn't think it'd run out so quickly, did
Well,
I?
that's because we're doing video, isn't it?
Yeah, well there you go. It's all right. Just throw me stuff on the floor, Phil.
No, it wasn't me. I passed it to him.
You
dropped-
have-
dropped
so we're
the
gonna have to
ball.
knock
Phil,
the mic
Phil, you're
off.
going across the halfway line, being aggressive here.
He
Eh?
dropped-
You're gonna have to.
You're
You're
going to
gonna
have
have
to pop at Daryl Powell.
You're gonna have to speak up. You're gonna have to. You might better leave it a little bit longer, if you want.
Are you sure?
Well, it's on 20 now, so when it goes down a bit more, you'll have to take it down.
When it comes
I think they're going to get done in a big game. But speaking to Steve Price, I don't think it's an instruction. I think they're just trying to manage the game. But as you said, you could see what was happening at Wakefield. They were coming, weren't they?
There's no two ways about it. And also as well, one bit of the show here, if Blake Austin gets injured, I'll tell you what, they will find it very, very tough Warrington without him, because he's just literally the go-to man, isn't he? You know, Declan Patton's done okay.
Well, that's what you pay the big money for.
Yeah, but they are relying far too heavily.
But
Far
isn't
too
that the
heavily.
same at
They are.
Salford with Jackson Hastings and?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, when it does become into the mix, when it comes semi-final football, and he maybe has an off night, because don't get me wrong here, Austin will be targeted. Don't worry about that. And if they keep him quiet, then Warrington will need a plan B, and if it's not a plan B, they might need a plan C to get the win.
Lots of people. Oh, by the way, before I get onto that, and I can't remember who's got off the screen. I was going to ask if we could do a tour of amateur clubs. We'll go anywhere. If you've got pies or something and you've got good Wi-Fi, that's the
Actually,
main
we
thing.
don't need the pies, do we? It's
No.
just the Wi-Fi.
Just Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but speak for
Wi-Fi
yourself though.
Oh.
or a hardwired internet connection.
Pie and pea night. I tell you what, the amateur club
Probably
could make a few quid themselves. Pie and pea night, sell pie and peas for £2.50. They'll
We
make
need
a
to
quid,
make some
won't they? Eh?
We're in crisis.
They
Probably
are.
in crisis.
They are.
Well, with a show like Leeds, we'll have a dig at the pie and peas. We'll have a dig at the pie and peas.
Like Lola here.
Huh?
I'm saying. Who's the top assist maker? Was it?
Try
assist maker.
So is it?
Lola here.
See, it shows you
Without
that
even playing at the weekend.
Stats obviously don't mean anything, but what's it? Trent Merriner's got the most offloads, Conrad Hurrell the most metres, Ash Hanley the most tries,
Why we bought the league?
and Lola here the most tries, and the team's won the league.
Why we? Well, and I told you. That's why stats are a load
I
of
think
crap.
all it tells you is that
That's
some,
why
some,
stats are a load of crap.
Some players who
Eh?
have been vilified and
Well, why we bought the league then?
some players who've been vilified and scapegoated don't deserve it. Some players.
Ashton Golden.
Is he going on, Trent Merrin?
No.
Oh,
Well,
hang on.
it can't be, because he told another programme that he was a guest on that he definitely wasn't going home.
But
He
then
had no approach.
But then another radio programme said he was definitely going.
So-
Who are we to believe?
Who knows? If we were influencers, we'd be able to answer that question.
People want to ask about
But you know.
I know nothing.
Oh,
I know nothing.
Mark's a bit harsh.
Yeah, get this. Okay, he knows it all.
Lola here is counterbalanced by tackles missed. That's a bit harsh.
No.
They don't put that on the top of the website, do they?
They
Who's
do.
rubbish.
They do.
But they don't put it at the top. There's
No,
tackles
but
missed.
you could find out
Oh.
if you want.
Should have seen my stats with tackles missed.
People,
Tackle's not attempted.
I'm going to say tackles
You can't
avoided.
miss something you haven't.
people want to talk about the Warrington Wakefield game. They want to talk about the obstruction, no try. I didn't see it because I was right.
Oh, it was pathetic. It was a dead set try.
Yeah.
Pathetic.
I'm fed up with this because it's happening every week now, and it happens at the start of every season. That this whole sport and all this new beginnings and bringing in shot clocks is to make the game quicker and more entertaining. Our USP is the scoring of tries. We are finding ways to disallow
Correct.
perfectly
Absolutely.
good tries because we're giving defenders the benefit of doubt who would not have got there anyway. And the one thing I'm not sure about is people use this word interpretation. Oh, it might be the letter of the law, but the interpretation is that, well, no, if it's an interpretation, then interpret it that it's a try.
It was a dead set try.
Yeah.
Dead set try.
And it's happening every week, and it's not a conspiracy. I think virtually every team now will have had a try ruled out for an obstruction that clearly it wouldn't have materially affected.
Because with that try disallowed, because they got a penalty, and after that, Wakefield scored a try, got a bit of momentum. That would have killed Wakefield off total. It would have took them, 22, with a kick to come maybe 24, it would have killed them off.
And again, we need to raise this gamesmanship element of rolling the ball or throwing the ball at players who are behind the tackle. It's
Hold on.
Well, like Sam Tompkins.
Hold on. Why did Conrad Hurrell get sin-bin for throw? I tell you what, Conrad
That's a
Hurrell.
good shot.
Conrad
I tell you
Hurrell.
what, he should play
He get a deal
NRL
in the NFL.
I tell you
Chucking
what,
it like that.
straight into the
And
swimming
you
pool.
saw it was like,
It
what?
went
You
for
can't do
miles.
that.
It went for yeah, but if
Why did he not get sin-bin?
well, he got penal. Has anybody ever been sin-bin for throwing? It happens so many times. You know when a
Yeah.
I'd
school's
have made him
given-
go fetch it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the
A
first
player
thing you
has-
should do.
Colin Halpenny was.
Hey, I tell you what.
Wakefield.
Hold on. Have you seen the side of Conrad Hurrell? Have you seen how frustrated and angry he was? Could you go to
Could you go and get that,
Could you? I'll get more later. Well, ask Conrad Hurrell to go fetch it. I'm sure you would have done.
But I think we've gone back to this again, milking of penalties at the
Yeah,
player,
I agree.
which is just such a terrible look for the sport. If it's the attacking player that's looking to do it, just play on. If there's a reason why the defender is obstructing the play of the ball and is wanting to slow the play of the ball down, fine, penalise it. But we had the ridiculous one the other week where a player's concussed. And obviously can't get out of the way because he's unconscious. The player playing the ball rolls the ball into the back of him, and it's a penalty. It can't possibly be a penalty if the bloke can't get out of the way because he's unconscious.
We don't want to be like football, where players cheat all the time and are defended by their union. They should come out and say, look, we want all the players want this, that and the other better in the sport. You want all this, you got to behave.
Well,
It's up to you.
what is the point of bringing in a shot clock to speed the game up if there are players now instead looking to slow the game down by winning penalties or conning the referee that somebody
I
is in
agree.
their
I'd have
way?
got Murphy. It was a shocker. There's been other ones. Smith the other week. I understand Tompkins was involved again at the weekend.
But
It's self-policing.
again,
It's self-policing.
it's
They need to
part-
speak, like you said, they need to say,
Well,
look,
but I don't
we
think
stop
it. I don't think it is as much self-policing. If Tompkins wants to do that, or anybody else, that's fine. It's how the referee interprets
Well, do it.
The referee should have just said, "I don't know what you're doing. Play on."
Well-
or I'm going to give a knock on
Well,
against you.
what
for-
do you do then with the guy in the ruck? Do you just say, as
think
an opposition, you're allowed to walk 2 yards
I
forward
think-
and play it for
I
to the
think, I
side.
think as a referee, you're near enough to the play of the ball to be able to tell whether somebody could have got away or not. And that if they are the
We had the-
accidentally.
Where's the farcical one though with Leeds London when he penalised
Yeah.
London for moving
For
the
moving
yard
off the
forward
mark,
so he could
yeah.
play the ball? If you just where he got a penalty
Yeah,
himself,
yeah.
you think, well, where's the benefit of that?
So I think it needs.
So what do you think? What's your definitive? What do you want to happen?
I don't think it can be definitive. I think you've got to look at each individual hand. Just say because the ball has hit a man behind the ruck, it's not necessarily a penalty. It might just be that if the bloke genuinely couldn't get out of the way, it's just play
Well,
on.
I said 2 last week. Roby at
It's just play
Huddersfield
on.
picked the ball up.
Yeah.
He never even went, oh, it's a penalty, ref. He was running off.
Yeah.
He was like going, and the ref, no,
And
it's a penalty.
sometimes, yes, if you're trying to get out of yardage, you can see why teams do it.
Yeah.
But if they're on the attack, it actually stops their momentum. But we want to see the ball in play more. That's why we bought in a shot. So don't keep giving away
Yeah, but-
penalties
Right,
that
anyway,
they're deliberately
yeah.
looked for.
Anyway, we're talking about the Leeds are cast, aren't we? But
Oh.
yeah, Leeds. Well, we're on it anyway, so we might as well go now.
Well,
And,
Leeds
yeah,
can't.
well, Leeds had a dig, yeah, and I know they lost, and I know they're bottom of the league, and that's not changing. That's not changing the facts.
Can we get that blown up and put on the wall?
Well, I'd say the league table,
Turn
the league table doesn't tell lies. Yeah, Leeds
What,
are the worst.
Keithley at top?
Leeds are the worst team in Super League because of the bottom of the league. But what they did, they had a dig. They played better for a lot longer minutes. And I tell you what, and I'll eat humble pie. Don't worry about that because
You'll eat any part.
I'll eat humble pie. And I
Clip
say
that bit out.
when I found out that Liam Sutton were playing at 6, I just said laughable, absolutely laughable. And dropping lower here, yeah, okay, the way he's played. And the question is, why is it Richie Marler being dropped? But I guess he can't drop a boat. But what I will say about Liam Sutcliffe on Saturday was quite simple. I thought it was outstanding. That's his best game he's played for nearly 4 years. Remember that game at St Helens, as we all know, with the Kevin Sinfield scenario? That's his best game he's played for Leeds at the weekend since that game. And one thing for sure, what I saw about Liam on Saturday was he seemed to enjoy the responsibility. He seemed to have that smile back in his face.
Took the line on a lot more than he has done.
And his creativity, his decision making, his service, whether it was first man or second man, was outstanding. So I'm hoping now, Ferner will take Liam in and say, right, listen, you looked as though you enjoyed that on Saturday. Now I want you to be consistent in your performances and perform at that level week in and week out. And if you do, because he does want to play number 6, that's his preferred position. We don't know what position he's got, but that's what he wants to play. And I'm hoping Ferner will put the trust in him. And I say because he certainly enjoyed that responsibility and he played very, very well on Saturday.
Fair play, Scott, because I saw you had a dig, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But
That was the big positive.
It was you, did I say? When I watched it, I'm getting goosebumps now just seeing about it. When I watched it, I could see that smile on his face. He was enjoying what he was doing. And whether he's playing at first man or second man, his decision making was excellent. And I say, I'm not defending it. We had a dig, but we're still bottom of the league. League table doesn't tell lies. But if Leeds can get that sort of momentum going and that creativity, certainly on the left-hand side, Callum Watkins, as we know, is a little bit still lacking with fitness and a bit of confidence. But certainly on that left-hand side with Hill with the service to Hanley, who knows? We might get there.
You just mentioned about Blake Austin. I'll go devil's advocate the other way. And you say, what you doing here, one job? What's
trying to get it working?
Yes, it's all right, isn't it? I think it's all right. If it goes off, then you sacked. Well, if you are sacked, that's it. The show's gone.
We're all sacked.
Say that back.
Yeah.
So
But you said about Austin.
Yeah.
You said about Austin. You feel like, what if Leeds lose Hull? He is there. He's
he's
their attack.
Well,
Isn't he?
he's their marquee player. He's their marquee player.
They're getting what they paid for.
But again, with Hull, the stuff what he does is outstanding. But again, the indiscipline of what he showed, and it's not just the first time where he's messed up at the play of the ball, giving up good yards after the. I'm not bothered about the throw, neither the throw of him. But
he's pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, but literally, he's doing it in every game, fellas. He's literally doing it in every game. He's messing up at the play. He did it against Wakefield. Can you remember whether that were a penalty or not? But still, it's him who, going from diamond, is going to rocks. So he just needs again that consistency. But Leeds had a dig. I was a lot happier with what I saw, even though
I think first of all, as a neutral, that was a really enjoyable game. And there was a lot of good feedback for people watching.
Oh, let's have a neutral. Hang on, there's me and him, and there's you and him. There's no neutrals here, mate.
No, I'd say if you were.
Phil, we're Leeds fans. We're not neutrals. They're Catalan fans.
The great thing from a Catalan point of view was that their previous game was a 46-0 defeat at home, and you could tell that the home fans, who expect a lot from their team, were absolutely shell-shocked by that, irrespective of how well Salford played. By the end of this game, because it was so exciting, the fans were absolutely, they all stayed to the end, they were on their feet, they were cheering in the way the Catalan fans do when they're at the most fervent and passionate. And it was great to see that turnaround. It was a really good evening for Super League in the south of France.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Dave wants us to stop talking about Leeds. Why you started talking about Leeds? Who
Well,
do you want us to talk about, Dave?
Change or I go, he says. Up to which Daniel says, go where?
What is it with Leeds?
We're talking about Wakefield, we're talking about Warrington, we've spoken about Halifax,
St Helens,
Expansion,
England, Great Britain.
Toronto.
Oh, God.
It's not praised West Wales
Speaking
yet.
about 5 minutes, Dave.
West Wales.
Who do you want to speak about, Dave? Tell us and we'll speak about them for you. But you'll have gone by then, so just let us know anyway.
But Steve McNamara, like Danny Ward the week before,
We're actually talking about Catalans now, Dave.
Oh, it's going offline now. So.
both said that Leeds showed sufficient that they both saw as opposition coach to say that they think they can rectify the position. And McNamara went so far as to say that last year they only won, was it 2 of 11 at the start of the season? And that what it needs is something just to kickstart them, and they're getting close to getting that something that's going to kickstart them. I suspect that you're right, that it's, at the moment,
They've got the worst
at the
defence in
moment
Super League,
it's
you know,
not
you do
about
know that,
performance. They do need a result now.
Yeah, no, they do.
So
Like Wigan. They
So
just need to
it's
win.
great that performance is better. You've acknowledged that performance is, but actually that doesn't really matter now. They need a win.
Yeah, but also as well, though, you've got to perform a little bit to get the win.
The fact that opposition coaches, and I don't think it's just because they're saying it because their team have won, are picking out the fact that there's some things that Leeds are doing that will turn their season around. I think that gives more hope than Brett Ferris getting Sunday.
I think as well also...
Which again was a self-inflicted wound.
Brett
Self-inflicted
for
wound,
what he
wasn't
did
it?
for that, you know, to be honest with you, look at it still on the field.
He's got 2 matches for it.
Yeah,
and,
we're looking at it still on the field.
At that stage, Leeds then go level at half-time, and they lose by the margin of points conceded while he was off the field. That's the kind of indiscipline that they've got to cut out.
I think also as well with Catalans, I think Macca's got a bit of a problem for me, for what I'm seeing, because Matty Smith to me doesn't look happy. Guizot's not an half-back. For me, Guizot should be put at full back and play Sam Tonkins at 6.
Yeah.
Because I mentioned it to Phil today. Guizot, he wants to come up with a champion play all the time. That pass with the interception, great play by Hanley, but it was.
I think he wants to play when he wants to play.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think he wants to be involved all the time.
This is what I'm coming to. This is what I'm coming to. He wants to come up with a champion player. Then in the second half, did you see that kick on the full tackle?
I didn't watch it.
It went straight out on the full, just put his team under pressure and this sort of thing. So I think because Matty Smith, you could quite easily tell he's not enjoying having him as his number 6 at the side, because as you say, he's a maverick player, certainly rocks and diamonds, but he wants to do it when he wants to do it. He's not a team player. Stick him back at the full back, let him get to make as many yards as what he can do as an individual player, get Tompkins at 6, and I think then you'll see the better of Matty Smith. But at this moment in time, that half-back partnership is not working. And Big Cassiano made a
great 15 minutes.
Well, I said, but you look at the size of the man, but he's not fit. Did you see the strapping on his knee?
But
he's
15
not fit.
minutes, he
but
turned the momentum.
Boy, oh boy, did he give the impression that we know he can play with the ball in hand. McNamara said he's one of the most skillful forwards in the world. Proved that at times on Saturday. But if Steve McNamara wants a bit of advice, my advice to you, Steve, get Guizot back at full back and get Tompkins in at number 6.
Who can't wait to see Cassiano versus Big Dave and Paulie? It's what we want to see, big fellas bashing each other.
For more than 15
Another
minutes.
tweet I thought I was going to get in trouble for at the weekend. Phil talks rubbish, says Steve.
Well, that's fair.
Here we go, Phil in transition Kaplan, says Paul. Phil's Leeds Love Fest, says Daniel. They're all still here. They love it. They love it. That's what this is what they, as Chris Tarrant used to say on Tiswas, this is what they want. Go elsewhere, you're not going to get anything, are you?
Who are you going to cheer for this week, by the way?
What, Leeds and Cass?
Leeds and Cass.
We don't sit on the
Child. James Child.
All right, we don't sit on the fence on this show. We don't sit on the
I'll be
fence.
tipping Leeds by 8. That's the start of the
Is
book.
that your reverse psychology?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not that bothered.
Well, I think I am the Leeds Rhinos in the tipping league
actually,
at the minute.
I'd probably rather Leeds, wouldn't I? Because I want to stay above them in the table because we're not doing well at the minute. No. But never mind. It'll be all right.
Right, who are we talking? Who did Dave want to talk about? Has he
I
gone?
think he's not said. It was Ian who asked about going to amateur clubs. He wanted us to do like a charity night for #Team Evan. Happy to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
tell us where we need to go.
Yeah,
we'll come and
we will do stuff. Although, having said that, you know, I don't know when we'll do it, but we'll do stuff eventually.
Could we just pay tribute to Widnes?
Yes, they're
who
on
were
zero.
given, a -12. They'd already won 3 games by then, but are now within touching distance of going above a handful of other teams.
Well,
That
if
is
you take
an
Rochdale
amazing-
out of it, they've actually got a game in hand on the top 5. They would be 6 points off the top 5 if they were.
But that's an amazing turnaround for a club that we weren't even sure that were going to exist. To play with the consistency that they're doing with at the moment, I just think that is an almighty turnaround.
I've prepared a couple of things for today, and I won't get round to them because they're not that important. And one of them was going to be about things we need to ask the IFL, and the IFL need to ask us in terms of the media and coverage of the sport. Widnes sold 759 tickets or something. I saw them saying on social media. They sold more tickets to go away to Rochdale than watched Arsenal versus Liverpool in the Women's Super League yesterday. One of those was a main headline on the BBC Sport website, and one of them was completely ignored. Yeah. So we need to be asking our broadcast partners, how do we get fairness in coverage of our sport? But
do you think Goya's won? Do you think Widnes will make the playoffs?
We were asked that earlier. They've got every chance, haven't they?
I think
teams are going to beat each other.
I think it's in their hands now, whereas I thought there was no chance of them doing it when that originally.
I thought it was a chance, but they had to come out and hit the ground running. And in fairness, they've hit the ground running. You know, they've played Toronto as well. That's their defeat.
I tell you what, as well, you mentioned Widnes. I think we've got to be a big shout out for Sheffield Eagles going to York and getting a great win.
6 wins out of 7.
Yeah, Sheffield. You know, because they always make the big noisy pre-season, and I say all the time, well, they make the big noises, but they don't come up with anything. But boy, oh boy,
apparently Thackeray played well.
Well, he's not a bad player, is he? Yeah. You know, but But they, again, if you want to get where you want to get to, you've got to show that consistency, and that's what Sheffield are doing. So well done, Sheffield.
Oh, and what a win for Dewsbury after Fez built them up with this silence in the Ram stuff. And what did they do? Went there and stuffed them. The old Dewsbury Rams beat Featherstone.
Oh, you're not saying about Featherstone because of full Leeds players. That's what you're saying.
Didn't have enough Leeds players in there, did they?
No. They did have 5, didn't they?
Why did Lola here play for
Dewsbury had at least
Why didn't Lola here play for them? Was he injured?
No.
Is that why we left out, or was it just dropped?
I think David Furner was quiet up front, saying they needed some more energy.
Well, Dave wants to talk about London against Hull, so we are going to, you know, we go where the. I thought we already had done, but he may have just joined us. London's 24, Hull 28. Hull well in front, a couple of late tries, got London back in it. I listened to the final few minutes, and it sounded like Hull nearly conceded again. And again, if you go on the YouTube, if you're a subscriber, you'll see the videos. We got both reactions. Thanks to Matt Horton for getting us that. Rada's just delighted to go there and get a result and said, look, we've got a result. That's all that matters. The teams come here and get beat.
Mate, at the end of the day, teams will be going down there and
in the top 5.
Yeah, and I say, teams will be just going down there and saying, listen, today, lads, it's just all about a win's a win. Don't matter how we get it, whether it's good, bad and indifferent, it's all about getting the 2 points. And I say, Radas, as you know, I text a few people every week and wish them all the best, and Radas was absolutely delighted. He said, I'll tell you what's going. The lads were warriors today, you know what I mean? So they're holding there, a win's a win, because it ain't going to be easy down in London. It's not going to be, anybody going down there, it ain't going to be easy. And
big game for London this week.
Yeah, Huddersfield. Yeah, Huddersfield. But I'd say, well done to Hull. And I'd say you stuck in there, played literally for the full 80. London just missed out, but there's a few more wins for London. There's no two ways about it. And there won't be any easy games down at the Trail Finders, or whatever they call it. Is what?
Hull have won 4 out of 7 now.
It's still in there, is he?
Hull have won 4 out of 7. They've got Warrington. I think that's a big test for them.
Yeah, it is.
If they can dig out a win there, all of a sudden they're right back.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a test of character for Warrington as well, because you know, after that last 25 minutes against Wayfield, it's going to be a test of character, and I would imagine Price will be saying, hey, listen, you know, if we want to be the real deal and we want to be from a point of view where St Helens are going to be, we need to make sure we play hell of a lot better for all longer minutes. Simple as that.
Tim was there. He says, another enjoyable Sunday afternoon's rugby in Ealing. Thriller of a game. The huge Hull support made a right racket in the new stand. When it's warm, it will be a lovely place to be.
Not a bad crowd as well, 2,300.
Yeah, they'll be happy with that. And, you know, they're adding something to it, aren't they? You know, I've got a big feeling this game against Huddersfield is a big game, but Huddersfield have just had a turnaround in form, and can London get another win? I think that's probably that's the biggest game of the week, because you're looking at London if they dig out another victory.
But also too as well, man. Right? You look at. Let's just say that if London do get that, or if Huddersfield get from there, the big day, the other team then who's going to be falling down because they're going to Saints on Friday is Hull KR.
Yeah.
It's Hull Kids Rovers. They are going to be on the flip side, because a week after it is a 4-pointer because they play Leeds.
The thing we said about London, wasn't it? They've got points on the board.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's.
I reckon if they could get 14 London, they stay up. 14 points is enough to avoid relegation.
They've got to get there.
I reckon 14 points is going to be enough.
What about Hull then? 5th in the table. Had a bit of a shaky start, but they've recovered. What have they won? 4 of the last 5. Lost the first 2, I think, didn't they? So won 4 of the last 5. If they win this weekend, are we? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm already getting my Hull KR over Hull bet, because Hull KR are falling off a cliff and Hull doing all right. In fairness, do we think Hull can make the 5?
Oh, well, without it, even let's look at Hull. The first game of the season, they should have won, shouldn't they? You know, they blew that one, didn't they, against from there. So what they're getting now, I wouldn't say they're playing at the best. You know, but this time of season, but they're getting wins and they're grinding out wins. You know, that golden point against Wigan, and I say against Leeds, didn't start too well, but they blitzed Leeds in a 25-minute spell. So they know they've got the quality. So
it's like you said, don't it? Sometimes it's not how you win; it's whether you win.
It's whether you win. Yeah,
they won. No one's bothered.
They're not bothered. No, Radders at this moment in time couldn't care less. I was winning games. Couldn't care less. But
you
again,
just need the points.
But the big factor has been bringing a Warrior back in Gareth Ellis.
It'll be very interesting to see if Andre Savelio makes a big difference.
He'll make a big difference. Good player, I like him.
If he's fit and if he's eager and if he's got a point to prove, then
he's got some skill, hasn't he?
He could be a really good addition, and especially with Jake Connor coming back.
Well, as Mick has pointed out, Hull have only beaten the bottom 4 teams.
Well, they have.
But they've beaten what was put in front of them.
Elsewhere on social media, we've been told off by Parr for moving away from Widnes quickly. Typical Scully. He always hated us. What else can we say though? We said they've
Oh,
done
they
well.
do.
Doing well, yeah.
I've always hated him.
On a roll.
Winners.
Would it affect
Hold
Wiggins
on,
if
hold-
Anthony Gelling was to leave? Do you
Well, that is the big one. And,
Well-
and why is he leaving? Is that to cut the wage bill or bring
Well-
some coffers
Well,
in?
have you ever
Witness-
doing us what he's on?
Well,
think?
he's
Yeah, but
on
Witness
six
said,
figures, isn't he?
Witness
Yeah.
said they didn't need to get rid of anybody now.
Well, how could a witness afford £100,000
Well,
contract?
I don't
No,
know
but
what the
I'm
outcome.
only going
I don't
on
know
what-
what the outcome, but I know there's a meeting at Super League. I don't know if it's tomorrow, if it was last week,
To exempt them. And,
to see what they're going to do with the remainder of their money. Now, obviously, if that gets withheld, and we're under the impression they've already had 3/4 of it, if that gets withheld, then that's going to put a big dint in their
Awesome.
plans, isn't it?
Well, what is interesting, and this is in today's League Weekly, the report is due from the administrators this week on what's happened, and they have strongly dismissed claims. This is Ian Shearer's report of any financial impropriety. Peter O'Hara said there's been a lot of gossip and rumour, but there's no evidence that we have found of this, and again, nobody has come forward. So all those people who
which
were
is what we said at the time. Be very
All those
careful
people
about what you're
saying things.
accusing people of.
They're on
They may
deals.
not have
They're
done-
on deals.
They may not
Yeah.
have done anything
All
illegal.
those journalists
If
who were
people
going
have
to dig
taken
them
back
out.
the loans that were owed to them or being paid a salary that may be more than what some people think they're worth, that's still their salary. It's not illegal.
See
Yeah.
what happens, won't we?
Be
Because all those
careful.
people have got all that evidence, so they're all going to come out with it. They said, you just go back and delete your tweets.
Hold on, let me just. That get done for witness. I don't hate witness. I've never said I hate witness.
No,
Never.
I don't know. I thought you were
Never.
thought we were very complimentary about them.
Not at
But
all.
people want us to talk about their team. Get tweeting in, get your messages on YouTube, whatever. We'll talk about
Well,
anything.
you don't have many opportunities to do this.
No,
You know, that's the problem you've got.
I think they met the playoffs anyway. I don't think we can be
Yeah.
any more complimentary than that, can we? So we'll see.
Someone says we should give West Wales a rap, and I did that on Twitter yesterday.
You
Only
did?
lost 30 points to 16 yesterday against Whitehaven. And again, played at 11 o'clock. I don't know
11
why.
o'clock.
No, that was bizarre.
Maybe it's for TV in South America or something. I don't know.
Maybe
they're
it
the
was
ones
just
with
to
the
make it
TV
as
deal.
awkward as they could for Whitehaven.
Toby's asked us, we've already mentioned Gelling going to Castleford potentially. What about the bigger transfer news in League One, where Workington Town are going to sign Chris Sandow?
Forget about it. Waste of time.
Well,
He's not playing for 2 years.
this is what the sport
Eh?
needs, big names and in a competition
Eh?
that's not on telly.
Got a bigger belly than me.
Well,
Forget about it.
that's his coach.
Eh? He hasn't played for 2 years.
No, I don't see the merit in it, but there's
What is the
obviously.
merit?
Is he gonna
I
get
don't know,
bumped on
if they
seats?
think if they
So-
think
so-
he can get
so-
him out of that
so-
division, then
No. But so again, another local lad, you know, wants to make a name for himself, and so he's being sacrificed for literally
But
somebody who couldn't care less about the British game. No,
all I would say, right, is if Workington can afford to pay his wages,
Yeah.
and they're happy to pay his wages, and if he comes in and does a job and gets them out of that division, then they would argue that is the right thing
And,
for them
and if
to
they
do.
can sell sponsorship and or shirts on the back of it, because it's the biggest thing that's happened in Workington for a while, then that's an economic decision.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're going to sell too many shirts. There were only 859 there
Yeah,
yesterday.
Well, they-
So-
but
By the way, it's a tremendous game by all accounts. I spoke to somebody there.
yeah,
from Workington.
32-30, yeah. Look,
Newcastle took an 18-0 lead, 18 apiece at half time, 30 points to 18 and 32-30.
That's going to be a great division.
Yeah,
Right,
it
and
is.
why? You know why it is? Because there's Hunslet, Oldham, Workington,
Yeah.
Whitehaven, Newcastle, Donny, Coventry, all in it.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
no
and-
Toronto.
Correct.
There's
All
no
the same
New York
playing
with a
field with
£10
the
million
same players, the
wage
same
bill.
players at the same level around. Yeah.
You've got to allow teams to compete at a level where they can be successful
Exactly.
and not take that hope away. And that wasn't the negative comment about New York coming in, or it's get them in at a level where they're going to be able to compete and other teams are going to be able to
And
compete
if it's
with them.
serious that one of the things they've got to bring with them is a television deal, they'll only bring that if there's
If
a
they're playing the
rivalry
team that-
with
yeah.
the team in their own continent,
Yeah.
not if they're two divisions apart.
Yeah, exactly.
I note with great interest because they sent us a people. You can still get sued on the internet. You realise that? Because we get sent these press releases occasionally, not by Super League, they don't like us, but by the RFL. We love the RFL. They sent us one
It's
about.
right on your shirt. so you
I
can
love,
kiss the
I
bike.
love RFL. Yeah. Ralph, we love you. About the hourly gap. Which
See, you know this bang on head test,
Oh, no,
head
yeah.
test, head test. He's got to go.
I
He's
like
got
that
to
fo-
go.
I like that football.
He's got to
as well.
go. How bad was that, by the way, yesterday? That footballer got knocked out. He got knocked out, swallowed his tongue, right, and he carried played the rest of the game. How bad is that? How bad is
What,
that?
international?
Yeah, international. He went for a header, banged heads. He did absolutely nutted the guy in front of him. Just out before it was like, you know,
Go on.
when Errol Bomber Graham once got knocked out, you could see him just going down. It was like that. Bring on the sponge. I think the player he was playing with actually put his finger in his mouth.
Which country was it?
Switzerland. The guy plays for Newcastle.
Oh, right.
Got knocked out, played on. Just carried on. Don't worry, son, you'll be all right.
There's not enough people like Harold Bonner Graham who you just refer to by their full thing, including nickname. Like Phil the Power Taylor. Where are those in rugby league?
Yeah, so sorry for that side issue.
So the exciting news, of course, is through a press release last week that I'm reading in the paper. Everyone signed up to the Our League app. I mean, I did, and then I deleted it, but I can log in on my computer, so it's all right. Single day usage peaking at over 47,000 people, apparently. More than 50 games have been streamed live to date. A total of 51,000 unique members have watched the games. So that's half the number of people who actually got the app then. Culminating in over 160,000 live streams, which works out about 3,200 per game. If you take 160 divided by 50, as I did on my phone earlier. So some of those games, obviously, when Bradford played in the League One things, they'd be higher because people want to watch Bradford. Some of those games will be a lot lower. So you'd be thinking, are we getting value for money from this? Interestingly, we'll keep banging on about this every week. There's this new American Football League in America. It's like second division American football. So people aren't good enough to play in the NFL. Johnny Football was playing in it last night. I just got home, stuck my YouTube on, and it was there, free to watch across the world. Second division American football, live on YouTube.
What's your point? Why are they putting it on the app?
Yeah. To minimise your audience to 100,000 people. Do you know what was on the BBC Sport website yesterday? Water polo. The British Supervised Water Polo, live on the BBC website.
Albert will have the Challenge Cup this weekend.
We won't have the Women's Super League the week after, will we?
Women's Super League
Keep
launch
the
this
Cougars
week.
and Bradford on
Yeah.
the online BBC this week.
Yeah, that should get good game figures. It's a decent game.
And the Battle of the Crusaders on the app, isn't it? The big game
Thatto
between
Heath against
Thatto
North
and
Wales.
North
I think
Wales.
Thatto Heath might win that game.
We've got a chance, haven't they? And then the 1895 Cup, they're going to be showing Hunslet versus Workington, so we might get to see
Chris Sandow's debut.
versus Hunslet.
What do we think about
New
the
golden
app?
orange.
You know, I can see what they're trying to do, and they've got to come up with a TV deal. But boasting about those figures is almost self-defeating, isn't it?
Having thought about it with regard to a potential focus group on the Our League app and where it goes from here.
To put into context, Phil, we get more listeners and views,
Yeah.
far more than they get for that.
And you can see our
And
numbers
they-
because they're on the YouTube
And they spend quite a lot of money on their output. We
My
spend
real
nothing.
worry is that at the moment, because it's free, whatever content you put on there, it's very hard to criticise or
Yeah.
even want to criticise because it's free. But I think we all know that the ultimate aim of the Our League app is at some point to charge some money for it, to have like a digital
Monetise it,
season ticket in some way. Now, I don't think you're going to have 100,000 people paying £10 a month, a year, a quarter, whatever they're going to charge, unless what you are putting on there is the top quality end content. So they have to be doing a deal with Sky about maybe having at least one Super League game on there every weekend. They have to look at internationals, be it England, be it Great Britain, be it England Knights, whatever. There has to be exclusive top end content if you're going to charge it. Your magazine programs have to change if you're going to charge for it. Not change as in there's anything wrong with the ones that are on there at the moment, but your production values when you charge for something. It's like we're moving away from clubs having programmes for, may or may not be a shame. So I think it is. I think the history of your sport is told through. If you give something away for free as part of a pull out of a newspaper, you can't really argue about any of the content in there. It can be as club centric as you want. It can be full of adverts if you want, because you're not paying for it. If you are asking the public to pay £3 for a programme, you need 84 pages that's got some really good content in there. It's got to stand next to other magazines that are charged £3 for. So I think Our League at the moment is doing exactly what they want it to do.
But hold on.
It's free.
The reason,
but it's a totally different product if you want to pay.
The reason, and you just mentioned it, the reason that some clubs aren't doing programmes is because the cost of making them and the time taken to make them is outweighed by the number that they don't sell.
Someone making a loss of 3 figures every
week.
match.
So you can see why that is a business. So then there comes the point then, well, they are putting money into Our League. So you're just saying you can't criticise the content, but it is costing them money. So there does need to be
I think
a level.
It's more the other way around. Whatever they're putting into it at the moment is to at some point
put a
charge
value
for
to it. Yeah, I get that.
But as soon as you charge for it, it's a completely different
Yeah.
product.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay to watch an interview with a second division rugby league player I don't care about. I just want to see the games. Can I get some things out of the way that I need to mention? 'Cause I've
Yes.
forgotten. Go and check out our stuff from Nigeria. Well, from Wakefield. Is it Middle and Eastern African Championships coming in
MEA.
October? Morocco, Nigeria, Ghana and Cameroon playing in October in Lagos.
And the exciting
Don't
one
read that.
is Morocco. For
Any
me.
news from Nigeria about the coaching position? Have I got it?
I should
We're
have
working
asked
on
you,
it. We're working on it. We saw it the other week, didn't
Yeah.
we? You did. You were thick as thieves with
Yeah.
it.
There are three
Trying to
new
share.
nations. It's exciting.
What's
that-
going on here?
I know.
I'm under attack.
People,
We're being sabotaged.
when we say we haven't got a budget and saying you don't want to pay for the hour,
Send
we
us
gotta
some
pay for this.
sellotape.
The three new nations is really exciting. That's the development of the sport. But the return of Morocco shouldn't go unnoticed either. It's I think 7 years since they last put out an international team. And at one point, Morocco were the hope of Africa for us. With
Right.
Hussein Mbaki was involved. So it's really good to see a nation coming back.
And I just wanted to ask a question because I don't understand anything. You know the Rugby Football League Roll of Honour, right?
Yeah.
Which does seem to be a very random list of people. I'm not saying anything negative about any of the people that are on it. Although I notice pretty much everyone who works for Sky is on that list. But you know who should be on that list who isn't? And he should be the guest of honour at the Challenge Cup final this year. It's going to agree with this because he's not a player, but it doesn't matter. Sir David Attenborough, who did more to get Rugby League on TV than most people have ever done. He did more for this sport than most people.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Well, there you go then.
Yeah,
He should be there because he invented the Floodlit Trophy. He pretty much invented televised snooker. Sod saving the whales, saved us. David Attenborough should be on that list.
And Eddie Waring.
And Eddie Waring. And where do coaches
Not should
go?
be given the
No,
credit,
yeah.
obviously, but should be on the roll. of
Is
honour.
it only people who are alive? Is it? I don't understand what it just seems to be a random thing that.
There's a board in Red Hall that's got their names on it. Whether it entitles them to run their sheep across the Red Hall or I don't know.
I think moves to Manchester and coming across that running track. I just wanted to ask because it's nice that we have this thing, but I don't know what it's for. And
Or how
there
you
are
qualify.
people, you know, where do coaches go? There should be a coaches wing at the Hall of Fame or something. I don't understand anything. So there you go.
I must say, when you mentioned the coaches Hall of Fame, and say I was at Peter Fox's funeral last week, well attended by everybody, and I say the respect the man has, as I mentioned on the show when he passed away, you know, the Brian Clough of Rugby League, and for everybody who turned out, certainly on behalf, not just the Rugby League family, but I think for the Fox family, I just want to say thank you to everybody because there's a great man, going to be a massive loss to the game, and the people who spoke on his behalf, not just his daughter, but his grandchildren, Derek Fox and Neil Fox, but everybody who turned out for the great man, I just want to say on behalf of the Fox family, thanks very much, fully deserved.
Last bits and pieces before the predictions. Andy says, need help with that crossword, Scully. One down. Watershed.
One down, Leeds Rhinos. Hey!
5 across in crisis. There's one for Martin Kellner.
Hold on. 11 across. Transition. Is that 11?
They should have, can you imagine if they had the crossword in League Express? That'd be great. They should do that. And also, yeah, people watching on Facebook are pointing this out. Everything's back to front. I don't know why it is, but all the magazines are back to front and everything.
Oh.
So like,
No
it
wonder
says,
they're
like
falling off
That
the
might
wall.
be
Yeah.
because I've done it that way.
don't know.
I've done it on the mirror thing so that we can see that we're still on.
Just tell him it's only for 1 week.
It's only for one.
It's only for 1
only
week.
for 1 week.
So that's
And,
it.
and if you listen on the podcast, it doesn't matter.
It's only for 1 week.
If you listen on the podcast, it's back to front.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like, anyway.
What did
So
ever happen
because we're
to
not coming next week.
what happened to Rugby League personality goals as well? Bring them back.
No,
No, I don't mean them back. And finally, David says, Ellery Hanley to be Pie's coach. Well, his son's on the books.
That's fair enough. Fair
Do you think
enough.
Ellery would go back into coaching?
No,
Fair, well, there you go then, Dave.
I'd be very surprised.
What time are we on, Ledge?
Just nearly 10 to.
Wow.
Nearly 10 to.
Through it already, right? It's just now there is once the guy's finished at Widnes, the auditor, the administrator, we are actually bringing him in to do the to check our predictions because I'm sure every week I tell him a prediction and I get marked on the wrong one.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to do it live this week because I've not got the laptop to do it, so I'm going to have to watch the video back.
Right.
to write them
Okay.
down.
Right. Well, make sure you do. So I think
I
there's
think I
some
had a shock
dubious.
last week, mate. I think I got 3 out, so
I think it was 2 actually.
3.
It was 2 because I also
3.
got 2.
Saints.
No, you got 2 on the
Saints.
ticket. You got 2 on the ticket.
Saints, Catalans and Warrington. 3.
You only got 2 points.
We did Catalans by 20, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, there's still 1.
Yeah,
All right. Right.
I had Saints, Catalans and Warrington.
Shush. It's time now for the prediction. We've got to do it because we have to cut this bit out and do it later. So it's like we're just doing a new thing. So it's time now for the famous prediction. I'll tell you what, it's good to see more people actually having a go and sending their own in.
Good.
And therefore they can't abuse us when they get it wrong as well. I like that.
You have to do it on Monday. When
We don't know the
teams,
weather, the teams,
injuries.
what's going to happen.
Not a single squad has been announced.
No.
We're
No.
brave
And
enough
of
to
course,
predict.
Of course,
Colours to the mast.
As we know, the 19-man squad, the biggest shambles in Super League these
Gentlemen,
days,
can I just say thank you very much to Bill Leafgo. Thanks, Gary. Have you seen this?
No.
Have you not seen it? Thanks,
If
Gary.
you didn't write the paper, they'd have nothing to put in that
Thanks,
page.
thanks, Gary. The start of the season has been pretty depressing time for us at Wigan fans, but I feel much better now after reading Gary's score prediction that Wigan certainly won't make the top 5. Thanks, Gary. Bill Leafgo from Wigan.
All right,
cheers,
well done,
Bill.
Bill.
Thanks.
Right, Leeds against Castleford. It's the big one. You know what? I think they're all big games this week. Leeds, barring St Helens will care. Leeds Cass. Where are you going, Ledge?
Well, Castleford, they'll be certainly looking for a response. And Daryl Powell will be looking for a response, won't it? And we know Cass over the last 2 or 3 years have battered Leeds, but I feel as though with the dig what they had against Catalans and the confidence what was got from there, there's plenty of confidence, and a few of the players had to smile on his face. I'm hoping Sutcliffe stays at 6. They'll come out with the same sort of attitude. I think this could be us on. I think this could be maybe the turning point for us on Thursday. I'm going Leeds.
By?
I'm going Leeds by 10.
10? 10? 10? All right. Phil?
I'm going to pander to all the people that love my pro-Leeds bias.
Hey,
So,
Phil,
Leeds
after
by-
Leeds' performance, I said, don't you go Cass.
Leeds
I'll
by
strangle
4.
you.
I'm going
Leeds by 4.
Leeds by 4.
I'm just having a bit of a word here with Trent Merrin. So we got Trent Merrin here. St George, what? I said cast by 8 earlier, and I think I'm going to stick with that. That's why the bookies have got Leeds at the moment, anyway. So Cast can't be as bad as they were, can they?
No.
Last week,
Impossible.
And Cast are still better than Leeds. So ergo, Cast will win. There's not an anti-Leeds thing. Just think Cast will win. Cast by 8. But if I was
Yeah.
Leeds, the other week when they didn't kick the ball at Kieran Dixon, kick the ball at Greg Eden this week. Just
Yeah.
an idea. Just
Will
an
he be
idea.
playing? Question, will he be playing?
Yeah.
He will. Cass can't be as bad. I didn't see the Leeds game. Clearly they had a dig or they would have got well beaten. I'm not so sure being at home's a good environment for them. I know they've played a lot of the games away, but the atmosphere won't be great if they go behind early. I think either Leeds win or they get blown away. And I'm going to say that Cass can't be as bad. They're going to win. I'll go Cass by 14. There we go. I've said it now. Hull against Warrington Friday night. This is a decent game, this one.
Good game. And I say Steve Price, I would imagine. Well, he said after the game on Thursday night that some players need to take a bit of a look at themselves, and they'll be doing it as individuals, never mind as a team collectively. But I just feel as though Hull, they want to put a marker down. They want to say, right, okay, we're going to be in the top 5. This home game for us, this will put a marker down for us. So I'm going for the black and whites. I don't think there'll be much in it. So you know what number's coming up now, don't you? There'll be a drop goal. You know what number's coming? Hull by 7!
And I had him at varying different sizes last week.
Oh,
We had
yeah.
it so often.
Well,
Yeah,
so
it
we
was
just do
right
that, and then that,
Yeah,
and then that, and then
yeah,
that,
yeah.
and then you can edit it in.
Just massive,
So
yeah.
Hull by 7.
Hull by 7. Mark Snead drop goal.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Interesting. I thought we sat next to Bruce Forsyth, I think. Good game. I think...
You remind me of Bruno Tognoli.
Phil, have you had too much wine?
Isn't
Have
that
you had too much wine in
something
Catalans?
you eat in an Italian
I don't
restaurant?
know, I
I
don't
want a
know.
plate of Bruno Toglioni.
They sure ain't got them biscuits from Amsterdam.
They were the cake.
Yeah, why not? They're into Super League.
Don't give them any Leeds players, whatever you do.
I think Steve Price will have exactly the motivation he needs to get into his team this week, saying if we are serious about going one better than last year, which is what we set out to do in pre-season, we have to have that air of ruthlessness about us. So I'm going to go in a high-scoring game, Warrington by 8.
That first 20 minutes last week at Bellevue was scary. I think Warrington, and they can disagree with me, I don't care to get these things wrong. I think they're winning games and then just, right, we've won this now, let's save a bit for next week. And you're right, one day they will get caught out perhaps. And I'm sure they're not doing that, and that's just my theory. I don't think this will be that week though. No Jamie Shaw for Hull because he picked up a head knock, and there's not enough time between games for him to recover.
That's a bit of a worry.
That's
That
three,
for
yeah.
So, but as we heard on from Rallies after the game yesterday, who went to fullback?
I don't know, wasn't that?
Griffin went to fullback and did well.
One man
That was
match,
it.
I think.
Tries.
I wanted to say Connor, but no, it's Griffin. I think it'd be, like Phil said, a high scoring game, but I'm going to go Warrington, and I'm going to go Warrington by 10.
I think when you win a game like Hull won last week, they'll be buoyant this week because it's a pressure reliever. You go to London and lose, and it would have been doom and gloom. They'll be rubbing their hands together, getting ready for this one. I think their forwards will be ready for this one. Warrington, if they had an 18 start last week, would probably got beat. I know we had a big advantage and they switched off. They won't get that chance at all. I think Hull are going to try and duff them up. I think Hull will duff them up. I think they've got the forwards to get stuck in. I'm going to go for Hull by 2. I think it'd be really close. Hull by 2. But I think this is a big game for. I think we find out more about Hull this week than Warrington. I could forgive Warrington going there and losing.
I think Warrington also have got a much bigger turnaround than Hull, and that might have an impact.
Could do. It could do. Yeah, you bang right. It could do.
And Warrington losing some energy late in games. They had the short term in Catalan as well. So anyway, we should see.
Yeah, fair enough.
Not I'm trying to change your mind.
It's alright, I'm quite capable of losing my own money, I don't need your help. St Helens by Hull KR, I don't even want to discuss this game, I just want to know by how many.
50.
I think there'll be a bit more resilience than that from Hull KR, but 24.
I've got the Hull KR kicker here, so he's not doing anything on Friday. I think it'd be like that game when they played London the other week, and it'll just be a job done from Saints, and they beat London by 26, so I'm going to go Saints by 26.
I think they beat London by 26 because London had a dig in the second half. It was 18-0 at half time. They could have got blown away. That was another one try effort, wasn't it? That was a costly one. I think they will get blown away. 46. If Hull KR have got any sense here, they send 17 kids and a guy who's old enough to drive the bus.
I'll tell you what I saw in that second half, well, 10 minutes before half time in the second half, if St Helens want to get 50, they'll get 50 in the first half.
Yeah, well, that's I just don't see why Hull KR. They've got to pick their battle. They don't go for me.
I agree.
Don't bother going, lads.
I agree.
Right, okay. London against Huddersfield on Sunday. Gary Schofield.
Yeah, it's another big game for London, isn't it? And dare I say, they would have ticked maybe a box of knocking all over. They didn't do there. Huddersfield, yeah, they got that win against Wigan. They played all right against Saints for 40. Did pretty well against Hull Rovers last week. Yeah, I think maybe they're just getting a bit of confidence back from there, and they're saying it themselves. They want to go on a run now. They want to get that consistency. I don't think it'll be easy for the Giants, but I just feel as though the way they turn the corner a bit, I think Huddersfield. I'm going to go Huddersfield by 10.
I have a feeling that, as we've said all along, London know the games London need to win, and they have come off a great away performance. They've just lost at home. I think they'd earmark these two games saying we'll have to win one of them. I'm going for London extremely narrowly, but maybe no more than 6 points in it. But I think the Broncos will win.
It's a great weekend of unpredictable fixtures. It's great news for what's he called, Robert Elston. London.
Yeah, okay, I don't bother sending it to
The
you.
listeners, are split here. They
apart
really
from that
are on
one.
this game.
I'm going to go with London as well. I don't know how much we read into that Huddersfield performance last week. The only worry for London is, of course, less time to prepare, and they come off a tougher fixture. But I'm going to go with London by 2.
I'm getting worried now because I've agreed with the legend on all the others, and I'm agreeing with him here. As much as I want London to win, and this is not an I want London to win to keep the battle going.
Yeah.
I think Huddersfield have had a turnaround. They went to Wigan and won. And all right, you say, well, Wigan have only won twice. They went to Wigan and won, and that takes them doing. They had a big game on Friday. They've had a lot of injuries. They brushed aside Hull KR. They did it effortlessly. There's an expectation London want to win this game, and it doesn't always work out as you want it. I think the Giants will win. I don't think it'll be easy. I don't think it ever will be. I'll go 8. Giants by 8, I think, in that one. Wakefield, Salford. So, Wakey, who've lost 3 times at home already this season, They need a win, Gary.
They do need a win, and Salford need a win as well, to be honest with you. And if the conditions are pretty decent, this will be an open game because at times both teams like to play touch and pass, don't they? So I think it will be a high-scoring game. Who could be the difference? The way that Jason Hastings is playing from there, and yeah, Wakefield. There'll be pressure on them from their own fans as well. You know, they've lost a couple of home games what they maybe should have won, and they haven't done. But Salford need a reaction. They'll still want to make it sure they're in that top 5. Goodness, maybe a 1 point difference. But I just feel as though pressure's on Wakefield. I'm not so sure they can handle it, fellas. I'm not so sure they can handle it. I'm going Salford by 8.
I think the way Wakefield came home against Warrington, you could see that Chris Chester was delighted with his team, proud of his team, the character that they showed, to put themselves in a position where they could have won it. I think the fact that they have lost another very narrow game, and all the defeats have been narrow ones at home, they need to turn that around, and I think they will. I think Salford will be more crestfallen by their home defeat to Wigan than
Not as crestfallen as me, mate, I can tell you.
So I'm going Wakefield by 12.
Here's the crucial thing about last week's game against Warrington. Is Warrington were very clever in the first 20 minutes to kick it at the left-hand side, who were a new thing. The good news is, or should be, Bill Tupou should be back this weekend. Hope Matt Jarrett stays in the team. I thought he got much better as the game went on. Wakefield by, I'll go 8 again.
Yeah, big loss for Salford at the weekend. It was a game. They're at a level where those are the games they need to win if they're going to improve the level. I just think Wakey will have too much. And it was interesting after the Warrington game. Steve Price was gutted in the thing. He'd won. Chester was quite happy. They had lost. I think that response, as you said, was a good one. I think they'll have too much. And I think the problem Salford might have, having played Wigan, who we know are quite a physical team, Wakefield are going to give him plenty as well in the middle.
3 days extra rest.
Yeah.
As well.
I'd have to go Wakey by 14. I think they'll win quite comfortably. And the last one of the weekend then, Wigan against Catalan, 3 o'clock kick-off on Sunday. Gary, where are you going?
Yeah, pretty. Just ran it pretty quickly. Catalans still got the problem on the road. Wigan, yeah, good. Performance booster, Williams hat-trick, Greenwood, he's out though, Greenwood, isn't he, from there? But I just feel as though Wigan have enough. Catalans have got the troubles over with the travelling. I'm going Wigan by 16.
I think this will be quite a low-scoring game because I don't think there's a huge amount of creativity in either side at the moment. But I just think that Wigan needed and got a really hard-fought win on the road. I don't think they're going to give that up now at home. So I'm going to go Wigan by 6.
I can't go with the Catalans either. I've got to side with Wigan on this one. Adrian Lamb was scoffed at a couple of weeks ago by some of our colleagues saying they turned the corner when they lost the other week, but it appears he was right. He knows his team better than we do.
Well, one win is not a turn in the corner. It might be an application of the brake, so the skid is stopped.
Application of a job. So I think they'll pull themselves away from Leeds at the bottom of the table, and so you get again. I'll go for Wigan. I was going to go by 8 again. 8 everywhere. 8. Wigan by 8.
I think the Dragons are going to win. I think they'll go. I think you've just nailed it. I think it'll be a really competitive game. Williams got a hat-trick last week. There's no Greenwood outside him. That is a huge loss to him. I think that could be a huge loss to Wigan.
Cassiano will be a week fitter.
Yeah, will Moore and Bird be back this week? Yeah. So that's going to. They've had 2 weeks off in effect.
Tompkins as well coming back to
Tompkins
Wigan.
to come back. Tompkins to win it by 1. Tompkins drop goal.
That's exactly what Andy says on social media as well.
Good stuff.
Tompkins 79th minute drop goal winner.
Yeah, Wigan cost me a fortune. They could have won this week. I wouldn't have been bothered last week. No, never mind. Right, that's it. Thanks to Gary as ever. Thanks to Phil. Thanks to you, Fortune. Thanks to Richard. Thanks to everyone that stuck with us. A few technical issues, but I think we got away with it. And I do appreciate it. Keep subscribing on YouTube if you haven't already done so. Keep subscribing, downloading the podcast. Great numbers. Where were we in Luxembourg this week?
400.
Gone
down.
We need to improve in Luxembourg. If you're listening in Luxembourg, sort it out.
We've gone below Whippets and Flatcaps and they've given up.
We will see you later. We'll be back next week. Thanks a lot.
Well, finish. I'm pressing it's not working. Oh, there we go.